Now you can hear me. Hi, everyone. Hello, it is I, Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. How are you doing? What is going on? I have things. What's happening? BP Phantom. Hey, PH and Rissa and Scabinak, how are you all doing? Hey, first off, and Ice Bunny, I just want to point out that BP Phantom has contributed 2,000 extra credit to the Habitat for Humanity and Resistance Community Challenge, which is... I need to turn that down. Hello. Okay, I'm good. And, yeah, I turned down some stuff. Turned down for what? You know, I really have a question. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Hey. So, in case you want to know what that is all about, I'm gonna do that. In case you want to know what that's all about. Right. PH wants to know, what is this? What is it? So our agents over in, do you remember, you remember last season? Oh, I wanted to show you something. Sorry. Last season over on City of Light and Shadow, we had a community goal, which was to try to get 5 radios for the radio operators in Paris, which was like a big deal because they didn't have the resources. And this season, we also have a community goal, which is a little different. And that is, at the moment, our agents are having a bit of a problem with where they live and where they are based out of. There's been some problems with their base of operations. And, you know, problems. And they need a new base of operations out of which where they can work and congregate without it being suspicious. And this Habitat for Humanity Resistance Challenge is to get them aspects. It's 150,000 extra credit points, and we make the goal we have a month to do it. If we make the goal as a community, they will get 1 aspect per 50,000 extra credit points that they can put on their new base of operations. So what will those aspects be? I don't know, but I imagine something about security will probably be there, but they don't have those aspects right now. They don't even have a new base of operations just yet, but when they get it, you will be able to help them make a place that is better. You'll make a better place for them. So singing time. What? Actually, that is true. Atomica. Also, I didn't hear my bits cheer go off. That's fine. We'll take care of that. Atomica. Hey, Atomica. How are you doing? How are you? The new base will be a volcano on a tropical island. I feel like it should be a tropical island underneath a volcano. Yes, fine. Hello, Atomica. Hello. Hoi Kor. So I figure things out will get stuff done, and I had a nice phone call with my mom about ADD, and there's a chance that both my mom, my dad, and I have it. BP Phantom, thank you for the host. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you everything. Hey, well, you know, Ice Bunny, you should probably get actually diagnosed, because there are different types of ADHD, and they have different sorts of manifestations and treatment. So you should probably make sure, if you're thinking that you have ADD or ADHD, you should probably go and get yourself diagnosed. Go see somebody about it so you can actually get good info about what's going on. Because, you know, because some things, there's some things that are like, for example, you might not have ADD or ADHD, you could have anxiety. Like there's some things that seem like ADHD but are not, or that are apparently also, there's some other things that are like sometimes obsessive compulsive disorder can look like ADHD. Anyway, the point is there are various things, and there's also more than one type of ADHD. And so getting an actual diagnosis is not a bad thing, and then you'll have more information. And as we learned from our Saturday morning cartoons, the more you know. Knowing more things is good. Atomica, by the way, is great. It's new, and I've already run 3 D&D sessions, and I'm starting a 4th right now. Atomica! Have you slept? Have you slept? And just a big thanks to the Foxhole. Well, you're welcome. And that is a lot of D&D, says Rissa. Paul Drake nods. Been talking to her about the spectrum, like autism, Asperger's. Yeah. Lots of different variants of neurodivergence have overlap with other kinds. That is true. And right, and sometimes there's a lot of like comorbidity, but also like there are a lot of things that could look like this, but might be that's other thing, or could be both, or the underlying thing might be this, and if you treat this one might go away, or like there's a lot of like it's a spectrum with a lot of overlapping bits and pieces. So it is helpful. Yes. By the way, though, Atomic, I have to thank you for those bits that you donated. Also, there are things, and I'm gonna sing for you. We're in the Money, as sung by Ginger Rogers in the film Gold Diggers of 1933, which means I will be singing it in Pig Latin, and then I there are things that I want to tell you all. There are things that I want to tell you, and I will, and but I'm gonna tell you like 8 things. I don't know. Maybe I'll just tell you one thing. I'm probably gonna tell you 8 things, or like 82 things. It's really unclear. Anyway, Pig Latin. Erwain hey the anime. Erwain hey the anime. Ibayat gele apwayat wix you ted gele angweo. Erwain hey the anime. Either I skates are on say. Oh man, the ADHD pray we are who do you stand way hungry. Ewe every eat red leonsley, of way at Briansley, today. And when we see the end, the Lord will look left, the eye guarantee the eye. We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Hey y'all, can you understand it more, the Pig Latin? Like when I sing the Pig Latin for you, those of you who've heard it more than once, a couple times, are you, hearing it? When I sing Iwe every eat red leonsley, of red Briansley, ute day. Do you hear? We never read headlines about bread lines today. Like, do you? Like, and when I say, Irwe and hey, the anime, do you hear it in your mind? Oh yeah, we're in the money. And when I say, the eye skies are on, say, you think, oh yeah, the skies are sunny. Like, do you think that? And when I say, Old Man Depression, do you think, oh yeah, Old Man Depression, you're through, you've done us wrong? Is that what you think? Do you think that? Do you think? Because like I just want to know. I want to know. What are you thinking? Also, I have like a million things to tell you all. I don't like my chat here. I want my chat here. I like that better. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got here. Says Atomica, it is Rissa, and it's putting my current season into full swing. And on top of that, it revealed the next big bad. And now my 2 older players know who he is and are mad at me. Ooh, I love it when your players are mad at you. You know what I mean? Like, that's really good. Like, that's really good. I like it. Crit Twitch. Hello, Crit Twitch. Just dropping a little heart lurk. Nice, thank you. Sadly, shouldn't be doing the Twitches, so going to mute in a few. Oh, all right. Well, and Crit Twitch just said to be awesome. Thank you for those kind thoughts, Crit Twitch. You be awesome too. I don't know if you're still here, but love to you. The ADD is a comorbidity to the dyslexia, says Ice Bunny. Poultry says, after Colas last night, did you get any sleep before all of your activities today? Oh, that's a very good question. I did actually. I did get sleep, but, oh, by the way, Scabinak, if I'm going to tell you 8 things, I should probably actually just name the things in a list so that people can remind me, so I do not forget them. Crit Switch is, uh-oh, rolling up the sleeves to show us the guns, getting rid of. Oh, Crit Switch, what I wanted to tell you was that actually has to do with, that was one of the things I wanted to tell you. Um, I have had this shirt for a while. I've had it, hey, Adonis Nimbus, I've had this shirt since the Army, right? So I got this shirt when I was in the Army. I got this shirt probably in 1992, something like that. 90, well, probably, I don't know if I had it in 1991. But I probably had it in like, I might have had it in 1991. Anyway, I had this like shirt, like 91, 92, 93. I had it when I was in the Army, is what I'm trying to tell you. And when I was in the Army, it was basically like you just always rolled up you know, you just always rolled up the sleeves of your t-shirts. It just kind of wasn't done not to. Like we just always did. I don't know if it was just the scene that I was in the Army, but like to have your, so, all right. I was reading a thing nowadays recently. They're like, oh yeah, if you want to be stylish, whatever you do, never wear a graphic tee because graphic tees are not stylish. Only wear a plain t-shirt and then whatever. But like Army style back in the day, like we would just roll up the sleeves of our t-shirts. And that made it more formal. Like that made it like, you know, like you were more deliberate. Like you weren't just like wearing a t-shirt. You were like, you know. And so I'm wearing this t-shirt that is like from my Army days from, you know, 2 years ago. And I was like, oh, my shirt sleeves aren't rolled up. And I just caught a glimpse of myself in the, you know, in the place. And I was like, oh, that looks so weird that my sleeves aren't rolled up. And then I just had to roll my sleeves up because it felt really weird that they weren't. And I was like, oh. So I just rolled them up. And I just wanted to let you know that was an Army moment, probably an Army from the 90s moment, just so you know. For a chair-bound professor, he does have some guns. Oh, thank you, Coldrake. All the packing and packing of his game books. Could be that. I also think it's probably, you know, although I'll tell you, I mean, I was doing a lot of weightlifting before I came here to Ithaca, but I haven't been able to lift weights recently. But I'll get back to it. Coldrake says, some music or words trigger certain music or lyrics in my head, like when somebody says or posts the words Mortal Kombat. Ice Bunny says, I think I just have to learn and understand what AD is about and how you can get help because of negative experience with doctors. So, you know, Ice Bunny, you cannot let some negative experience with doctors mean that you don't go to the doctor anymore because, you know, you like, that would be like, oh, I had a bad experience with the doctor. And even though I'm bleeding out of my head, I'm just not going to go to the doctor. Like, you know, find a different doctor, but you should go to the doctor. Especially when it comes to things like, you know, your health, because it's important. It's important to go, you know, important to take care of your health. Atomic, miss you, Critwit, yeah. Hey, Adonis Nimbus. Hate that it worked, Caldrake, because yes, it did. Fashion, right? The fashion. I just, you know, we had really interesting. Okay. I'm gonna just start listing some things that you can remind me of. Cologne. 80s cologne, 80s drinks, 80s cologne, 80s drinks. Remind me, don't let me forget. Army fashion, 80s cologne, 80s drinks, Army fashion. Don't let me forget those three things. Rissa says, my Call of Cthulhu game just had a climactic battle, and next month, if I have any spoons, there'll be an epilogue, and then we will convert the character to 7th edition. Will be a good opportunity to skip forward, which I'm sure will excite Trooper SJP. I mean, my understanding is that people are not allowed time skips. Although I got us 2 months in the future in Kolos yesterday. There was a lot of like flashbacking and flash forwarding, but I got us from September up to November. And I was like, I said to the cast afterwards, I was like, hey players, that means, by the way, since we've set it up so you've got a lot of stuff to do, that means we can like kick off the next episode in December. And they were like, yeah, but nobody's told Regina about her ex-girlfriend maybe coming to town. And also, so we have to do that. And I was like, dang it. All right, we will start next episode still in November, but then we're moving forward to December. Know it. So I just want you to know that is, we're going to finish our time skip. Because I'm all set up for a time skip. Let's see. Javai says stylish based on which style? That's what I'm going to talk about. I'm very excited. Ice Bunny asks, "Hey, Origami Shuriken, Origami. I don't know if you all saw, but Origami Shuriken posted this amazing piece of art that she did of the Salt Maw crew, the Salt Maw crew, and there's just like Crabbly Blooper is so amazing and so adorable, and like, I mean, everybody is super amazing and adorable, and I kind of can't handle it. I just want you to know it. I just want you to know it. That's all. Yeah. How did you get used to the cold? Which cold? Which cold? Where? Which context? Give me more information. Do you mean the cold in... Oh, yeah. Right. Do you mean in the apartment? So right now, the leak is on pause. I don't know if it's going to stop forever. There's still a massive hole in my apartment, and also precarity in multiple spots. And last weekend, the leak stopped for like a day and a half or 2 days last weekend, and it is now currently the weekend, and apparently the leak has stopped again. But then it started again on Monday, and so I am not going to feel like, oh no, the leak is done until, you know, Monday or Tuesday. Anyway, but the point is, because the leak is currently stopped, I was able to take the plastic tarp down away from the heater, and so I put my heater on, so I'm no longer in kind of sub-freezing weather in my own apartment in the office. So that's really good. That's really good. PH says, you just have to talk to the ADHD expert. They will talk to you about it. Seriously. Yeah, and that's I'm going to sort of co-sign what PH says. When you go to see someone, go to see somebody who's an expert in ADHD. Like, that's for whom that's what they do, and speak to them. Javai says, sadly, finding the right doctor can take more effort than it rightfully should, but it is still important to do so. That is also true. Coldrick says, we went through years looking for good fits for my son as the family moved about. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Scabanek says, 80s cologne, 80s drinks, army fashion. Got it. Yes, don't let me forget. The time jumping. I was really expecting... here's... Coldrick said that Coldrick was really expecting December. I was expecting December as well. And then episode 2 happened. And when episode 2 happened, I was like, well, maybe we'll get to December in episode 3, but we're going to have to stop in November when the people from London arrive and find out that spoilers happened, because there's going to have to be a conversation about what to do after spoilers happened. So I was like, well, we can't get to December. I doubt we'll get to December because of the things that have happened. Oh, by the way, you know what? I actually probably should finish this thing I was making for you, although I wasn't able to finish before game time, and put that on Patreon. I should do that. Adonis Nimbus says, Troop, my partner has recently started streaming our tabletop seasons. Ooh, but as we're using Google Meet, it's impossible to do individual windows for each player, as I've seen when I watch Kolos. So what do you use for the video call for your games, so I can avoid shifting windows when I run my own game someday soon? Ah, Adonis. Now, I have never used Google Meet. But you may be able to do individual windows with Google Meet as well. So what I do is I use Zoom because Zoom, I like the quality of it. So I just use Zoom, but what I do is I'm using to stream, I'm using OBS, what was that about? Okay, we're good. So I use OBS. I use just plain OBS Studio, like the regular OBS, not Streamlabs has made because OBS is open source, and Streamlabs has made their own version of OBS called Streamlabs OBS. Slobs. There's a thing called Stream Elements, which I should look into maybe, but I just use the plain regular OBS Studio because I find it to be very stable. What I do is I have Zoom, which I assume you can do with Google Meets as well, up on like a part of the monitor, and then with OBS I capture the monitor, and then I copy or the program, and then I make sure what I do is I copy the program 5 times, and then I crop it, right? So that I just crop the program to the size of the individual boxes, and I just put those little, each one of those little cropping as a layer, and I just put the layer on my overlay. It's let me see, hold on. I think I can just do this. It's gonna look a little bit weird, but that, I feel like that will be fine. Like, it'll be okay. Just Slobs is an acronym. That is true. Trooper, I presume your Fate of Cool has not been canceled for terrible weather. It has not. I presume that you'll need to end on time today. Am I correct? That is also correct. Yes, because I've got last minute prep to do, which includes I've got like a bunch of prep to do because it is a full day. Here, let me just do this for you. So this here is my desktop that, you know what? Here, hold on. I feel like you don't need to know how terribly, what's the word? How terribly crowded my desktop is. I feel like you probably don't need to know that. Probably. Oh, I don't. Oh, you know what? You're just gonna have to know how. You're gonna just have to know it. That's just life. Sadly. All right. So here's my OBS, right? And in OBS, you've got your scene. This is the game scene, and you've got a bunch of different things that are in there. So like this is you can't see that. What is this? This is my audio. This is some frame. What frame is it? Oh, it's the frame on me. These are all my various cameras. This is my camera. Whoop, whoop. The shadow for it, layers. So this is the display capture, right? Which is just a layer which is capturing the display. And if I wanted to, right? Like let's say this were OBS. You know what? I should probably copy, and then I should then duplicate. Let us paste. Oh, that's a reference. I don't want to do that. Here, I'll do this. All right, so the game capture's not even doing anything. That's not exciting. But what you can do is, I've not. Okay, so this will be fine. So this is the I'm capturing the screen right now. And what I do when I'm doing with the individual boxes is that I just come in, whoop, and I crop. Like I do a little crop. Right? Like I'm like, oh look, there's my box. There's me. Right? And then I just do that for each person on Zoom, but you could probably do that in Streamlabs with Google Meets. You could probably do that with Google Meets. So let me see. I want to reset that transform. Woo! Too big. That's all right. Here, let me scale this down. Get ourselves to it. It's just a little too big. It's fine. So like basically, you can just do that, right? And then you don't have to worry about. And then, like I put. I'm scaling this at the moment. Woo! It's too small. That looks pretty decent. Let's bring ourselves to right about there. No, I think I wanted there, like that. Yes. Now I forgot what it looked like. Is that how we had it? Like that? No. There. Yes. 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 About like that. That's what I think. About like that. Yeah. About like that. There we go. Oh, did I want to show you? I did. Sorry. I just wanted to show you one other thing. There we are. Right. And so then here, right, this is me right there. And that's just my camera, right, which I've got on and in and out, and that's a layer. And above that layer, I've just got this little frame, right, which I can take in and out. And I made a little shadow for myself as well. And so you just sort of put your cameras where you want them, and then you just put little frames on top of them, and then it looks like, you know, like you're in a frame. It's really not that bad at all, is what I will tell you. It's not that bad. And you can do that with wherever you got. So does Zoom have an option to make the players always appear in a particular order? Zoom does not, but in Zoom, you can move people around. It's new to the newer Zoom, that when you come up, they'll be whatever, or they arrive in the order that they logged in on, but now you can actually just use your cursor and drag and drop the boxes to new locations, which I had to do last night because our characters were in on the wrong order, and you just drag and drop them to sort of set it up. And once you've set this thing up in OBS, unless you sort of change dimensions of your windows, everything will be the same. So when everybody pops up in in Zoom, then I just have them in OBS. It's all set up, and sometimes I have to just rearrange the boxes. But other than that, it's pretty good. And so like it is nice. It is nice. Okay, what do we have? I want to make sure. Oh, that's here. Let me see. I want to hear some RP Nightmare time skipping. Atomica, yes, I do. Let's see. September to December 1941. The Great Fall Forward. Yeah. Why 80s? Why not go to high karate? Because I wanted to tell you about a thing. So it is hard to do, says the GM who has had a multi-year game that in-game has only advanced 2 months. Well, that's true. It has only been 2 months. Yeah, water damage, cold. Yeah, heat. A bit early for a league to take spring break. Atomica says, my party spread into 5 different stories last season. Some of them time skipped a little, some didn't, and one is taking place 300 years in the future, and another is taking place outside of time altogether. And I'm still intending to bring them all back together. Add to the list of things to talk about. Call of Cthulhu and Jan and Call of Cthulhu. Get the air dryer thing. I don't think the air dryer makes it less cold. You know, and I you told me to get one, so I bought one. I'm just not using it because I don't know what I would use it for. Like, I don't quite know what the point. Like, I have a dehumidifier, but I don't know what the point of it is. So I got one because you told me to get one, Ice Bunny. I'm not using it because I don't know. I don't know what I would use it for, but I have it. It's here in a box. Arkansas got above freezing yesterday, and the sun is out, so all my shoveling to concrete has paid off. So, my players, there's more masochism than sadism. That is fair. I'm the one that has to do all the math. Atomica, don't forget, Call of Cthulhu. Google Meat doesn't sound delicious. Maybe. I wish that would be so easy in Denmark. Here they make you jump to hoops because free help, and I do not know when I can visit the fam on the south side of the border. Slobs is such an awkward name. It is. Adonis says, there doesn't seem to be a way in Google Meet to get the chatters to always appear in the same place. Adonis, I see what you're saying. What you can do is because now Zoom only just started at giving you the ability to move people around. What you would do before is I would just move the boxes, right? So I had a box that was always for who's the first person in, a box always for the second person in, the third person, the fourth person. And in the old day, I just have to move the box to the new spaces. But now you can just move like in OBS, I just be like, oh, this is the Rocket Fox box. I'll just move her over to the Rocket Fox space in OBS, but now you can just do it in Zoom. But either way, you can do it either in OBS or in Zoom. It's just a little bit more convenient doing it in Zoom. But, Rissa says, got that one. Bluttered, let's call it iconic. Yeah, iconic. 3 times the trooper. So PH says, I spent today and yesterday replaying Mass Effect 3. Ooh, in preparation for an RPG show. Ooh. Oh, PH, you're gonna have to tell us more about that. Doing a Renegade run because my character leans more Renegade. I forgot just how awful Renegade Shepard is. I have never played. I mean, look, I played Knights of the Old Republic, playing it as I would play it personally, which meant that I was pretty light side. And then I decided to play it, like do a dark side run. And it was so upsetting to me, the dark side run. It was so upsetting. It was really upsetting. Like, I finished Knights of the Republic 1 in that dark side run, and all of like the evil empire was like cheering me, going like, yay, we love you, you're so evil. And I kept thinking, they don't really love me. They don't care about me at all. They fear me because I've murdered a lot of people, and like my apprentice here is just gonna murder me whenever they get the chance. Like it, and like oh man, I just had a lot of, I was like, this feels hollow and empty inside. I don't feel like a badass who murdered all the people. I feel like somebody who just murdered a lot of people and is alone and just waiting for someone to murder them in return because that's the Sith way. And I felt hollow and sad. And so I have not done a Renegade run in any of the Mass Effect because, I just felt so bad after my dark side run in the first KOTOR. Just a lot. Ooh, time of gifts. Oh, we have a raid. Critical miss. Raiders, give our raiders. We have a raid command. for our raiders, and we should give them all of the raid love. It's that one. And wait, here we go. Raiders, welcome in, raiders. Also, oh, I know what's going on. I know what's happening. I know I'm not hearing anything because my volume is low. Raiders, this is not a raid. How are you?
Somebody's watching me.
I always feel that somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Ba-da-ba-bow. Hey, ooh, thank you for those follows. I always feel that somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Welcome in, raiders. How are you all? Critical Miss, tell us, what were you playing before you got here? And were you having a good time? And like, tell us all of the stuff. Give us the word. Give us the lowdown. How was your stream? What were you playing? Just, you know, what is it? I wonder if there are any Vikings that stream whose raids are slightly different, maybe. Oh, thank you, Make Believe Live. I was just going to share something with everybody about my facial hair, and you just reminded me it wasn't even on the list of things to share. But now that you reminded me, I will tell you all. Talk about mind triggers. I was just watching another stream and somebody said somebody's watching me, and immediately I wanted Trooper to pop in a box and sing a song. Yeah. So hey, raiders. Also, again though, what critical misses? What were you streaming? Tell us what you were streaming. So look, I'm going to share something with you. It has to do with my mustache, more or less. So I have a straight razor. I've been shaving with a straight razor for like 20 years now, about, and because I do. But the thing about straight razors is that sometimes they need to be rehoned. Like you need to go to a special person who hones things. Noir and I were chatting with Justice over on Morning Ritual. Ooh, what were you chatting about? I need to know. I bet it was something really good. It was Morning Ritual, Saturday morning talk show. Ooh, I do love a good talk show. I love it. What was the topic of conversation? Like, again, clearly I love a good talk show. Oh, games and game design. Okay, I need more information now because I feel like you're going to distract me in the best way. I want to know, like, RPGs, tabletop, like board games, video games. What kind of game design elements were you talking about? I want to know. You've got to tell me. Making dice out of our own bones. Ooh. After we're dead, presumably, one presumes. Eating dice. Ooh, are we gonna eat the dice of our bones? Well, because then I feel like if we made dice out of our own bones, we're probably dead, so we probably cannot eat the dice made out of our own bones. But if we had, like, okay, look, you could make dice out of sweet tarts, like, you know, sweet tarts, and then make them dice, and that would be delicious, and I would eat all of my dice, and then I would not have any dice, and that would be awkward, you know? Okay, I had already followed you on Twitter, but I really love your Twitch energy. Oh, thank you. We're playing Outer Worlds today. Seriously, I know it doesn't look like we are, but we're on our way there. Where Shawty's like, you know, that wasn't really established, and I was like, well, you know, are you Crunch Crew or Stop the Crunch? Hello, crotchety old woman. Crochet, I love your name. That was amazing. D&D subclasses, how we'd improve things in game. We talk about how to deal with problem players. Ooh, interesting. Dice-shaped chocolates will be tricky because chocolates melt in your hot little hands. Gummy dice could be good. Squirrel release alert, probably. It is time for you to put the game on the background. Oh, that's true. I'm going to put the game on in the background. So, what I want to tell you is I've been using a straight razor for, like, you know, a gazillion years. But the thing about straight razors is that you need to hone them. Not like you strop them regularly, right? Of course, you strop them all the time. But you also need to hone them. And when you hone them, honing them is not... hello? What are you doing? Oh, dang it. I think I might have, there might be a... Come back here. The Outer Worlds looks like it froze a little bit. And, I I think it did. Here, we're gonna have to go here. We're gonna quit out of it and then because it's frozen a little bit, and then come back into it. Let me see. Do I do it like this? Hey, I've not had to do this PS4. I just want to oop, nope, that was taking a screenshot. Nope. Nope. Maybe this one? And yeah. Sure, here we go. Anyway, oh, you like the camping cup at the tip jar? Thank you. I worked on that one. I got my buddy, oh, my buddy Little Red Dot told me how to do that, and so then I could. Also, what are you doing? The camping cup is also part of the basic kit when in the service, part of the canteen set. Yep. So then, right? Because I went and I got the military camping cup. We don't know. Trooper's been playing for a year and we're just past character creation. No, we're like getting towards the end of the thing. We have 80 things to talk about. Like, also, why are you being weird? Here, I'm gonna do this. I'm going to. What are you doing? I'm having shenanigans over here. Was it because you're tempted by the gods by messing with? No, I think it's actually the PS4. That's what I said. Give me a sub box of gummy dice, and I'd be all for crunching dice. Yeah. You first off, PH, you're not weird, right? So I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do is like, see, the thing is, I feel like it's I'm gonna take this out, and then I'm gonna put it back in again and see if that works. That's how you do everything. Oh, right. So I was gonna finish this. Also, why are you being weird? Why are you being weird? Quick menu. I'm gonna maybe do. It's weird to me. Is my menu is being strange? It's being like there's strangeness here. Oh yeah, Dot's amazing. Okay, broadcast gameplay. I don't want to do that. You know, why are you being weird? All right, look. I'm gonna tell you the story, and then I'm gonna figure out what's going on. So you have to like if your straight razor gets dull, you have to get it honed. But the thing is that most people do not. There are not a lot of professional straight razor sharpeners in the world anymore because of I don't know. It's not the 1890s. And so there is a place that you can go. Like I know a guy that you can mail him your straight razor and he'll hone it for you and then mail it back. But like I just haven't done that, and so I've been using a really cheap texturizer as a straight razor. It's like it's a cheat, but like it works. And I was like, you know what? I am going to buy something for myself. It's only $20, but it's really nice, and I can use this until I get my regular straight razor honed. And so I got this is what's called a Barber's straight razor, and I first noticed this when I started going to barber shops to get a shave, which I don't do often. It's like when I want to be really nice to myself. And in barber shops, they're not legally allowed to use regular straight razors because regular straight razors are not hygienic if you have multiple people. So what they use instead is they use straight razors that have disposable blades in them. I don't know if you can see. Oop, there you can see it a little bit better. So there is a blade inside of this straight razor, and that little blade is disposable. This is called a Barber straight razor or a shavette. And so I went and I got this really nice, it's like really nice Barber straight razor with a disposable blade. And so until I can get my regular straight razor sent off to someone to be honed, I can now use this shavette, and when the blade gets dull, I can just replace the blade. That's what, and yeah, right? It's like a dying on stream is against POS. No, it's fine. Contact your local Ioannis Fabric. They usually have an area. Yeah, but the problem, Volpus, is that knife sharpeners usually don't know how to sharpen straight razors. Straight razors need a totally different technique than knife or scissor sharpeners. And if you take your straight razor to somebody who doesn't know how to sharpen a straight razor, they will ruin it. Because it's a different, like there's a different way that you have to sharpen a straight razor, and if you just take it to a regular person, like you can't use the sharpener, you have to like actually use a paste on a whetstone, and you have to do it in a particular kind of way, which is why I'm not doing it personally, because I have never honed a straight razor, and like the blade is like there's like a real sort of like a thing about how the blade sits, because it's kind of like a folded blade. Anyway, if you don't do it right, you're just going to ruin your straight razor, which is why I personally have not done it myself, because I do not want to ruin this straight razor, because straight razors, I don't know if you know this, they cost like $150, and I do not want to ruin my straight razor. So I will mail it off. That is what I'm going to do. Oh yeah, no, yeah. And Coulter is like, wow, I did not realize how fine the stone grit is necessary. Yeah, it's like, it's a real, yes. And I, like, if I had a crappy straight razor that I didn't mind if I screwed it up myself, then I would just do it myself. But like, I want to take it to like a professional so that they can hone it and it will not be messed up, because, you know, I don't want to mess up the thing. Let's see. Once, twice, 3 times a trooper. I'm a sad the Reaper's killed my family, Commander of Remshep. Get over it. This is the war. There might be more. It's too tight to see. Does Zoom have an option to make? Yes, we did that one. I can't figure out how to crop the Discord videos individually in slobs, only resize. So I just made one big window and listed that cast alphabetically. I have to put Origami. You might want to try OBS Studio, because I know that OBS Studio gives you a lot more ability to customize things than slobs. Although I hear that slobs is getting better, but in OBS Studio, you hold down the Option key and it'll let you scale, or you can click into the thing and scale it by hand. Just trying to make sure I don't have to rearrange OBS boxes every time. Might have to move to Zoom. Might have to, Adonis. But remember, Zoom, you're gonna have to pay for. Zoom has a time limit. Like the free Zoom, there's free Zoom, and that's like gives you like, I don't know, 20, 40 minutes for free. Like your call can be 20 or 40 minutes long. If you want like a 3-4 hour Zoom call, you need to subscribe. Only one person, only the host needs to have a subscription. But if you want for like multiple hours, you will need the subscription, which is like $100 a year or something like that. Next time I stream a game, I will plan for a tech rehearsal. Yes, and let me know, and I can maybe I could help out. I don't use slobs, but I can help out if I can. Ice Bunny says it will, well, wet walls grow mold. Well, they're dry right now. Like they're dry at the moment. So it keeps you from getting mildew, except a leak. All right. Was that Call of Cthulhu and Jan? Please. Yes, it was. It was Call of Cthulhu and Jan. Don't let me forget. And when mold is growing, they have to remove it, and that means, yeah. But I don't think we've got mold, because I think it's dry. Moving when they remediate the mold, yeah. Yes, but like it's dry right now. I just feel like it's dry at the moment. Yes, you know. By the way, I think I'm almost caught up on chat, right? I feel like I'm almost caught up in chat. Maybe. Oh, I wanted to know more about the. Now I'm catching up in chat again. I wanted to know more about the game design. That's exciting. Also, I have thoughts about D&D, and Call of Cthulhu and Jan. Oh, I heard this game. Oh, it does. Yeah. Make Believe Live. One of your main party members is Ace, and like she's going through a relationship, and like she's a little bit nervous that the person that she would like wouldn't like her back, because she's Ace, but like the person that she likes, I think, does like her back, and like they've got this whole thing, and so that's very cool. You not only do you get to see an Ace person, but you get to see an Ace person who is not, because the thing is, quite often you'll get people who are AAA or at least AA, right? In representation, you'll get people who are asexual and also aromantic, who are just basically not interested in any kind of non-platonic relationships. But this person is asexual and also homoromantic, at least homoromantic, and so we get to see somebody who's ace but not aro, and that's pretty cool. There's nothing wrong with people who are ace and aro. Ace and aro is also awesome. I just find that we tend to get, when it comes to representation, if you get ace representation at all, which you often don't, it tends to be ace and aro, which I think is also awesome, but it's nice to see somebody who is ace but not aro. It would be also interesting. Yeah. So like, it's cool to have like more, because like, you know, the ace spectrum is quite broad, and there's like a lot of different configurations of the ace spectrum. Some of which we see all the time in media, all the time, although just usually not named that way, but like some we see all the time, but some we don't see hardly ever. So it's just kind of nice to sort of get a broader a range of spectruming. Let's see. That's what Boxigummy, right? Camping cup in the military are not soup bowls. Asking why things are being weird. Really? Have you read Chatter Discord? That's fair, Bulbuz. Troopers rolling a deception to not play the game so you can get through stock. No, it's being weird right now. No, there's no picking on me at all. Trooper, can you not ask a person who sharpens? No, you need somebody who does straight razors because they actually have a different. They're folded. Like straight razors have the very tip of the blade is actually a little bit. It's not like a knife or scissors. So you have to like there are professionals who do it. You know that is fair. Ooh, did I just get caught up actually in there? He's been doing this a long time. He isn't sleep shaving, so yeah, I should be fine. Let's see. Yes, I know. Trust me. Talk to them. Really? Talk to Joanne's? Because I would really hate to go to Joanne's and have them ruin my straight razor. You know what I mean? Because that would be like very distressing if they don't have the stuff and they don't know how to do it. Like I would be very distressed if like, you know, if my like the straight razor it's really nice. It's a nice German straight razor. It's a Dovo. And it's beautiful and it has like such a nice balance to it. And like if the blade were just ruined, I would be so sad. Polish this bevel with higher grit stones in progression at 2,000, then 4,000, then 8,000. Polish with your finishing stone. Yeah. I'm not, look. Zoom is 15 a month. Oh, thank you. Have you moved the bookshelves? No, I don't think so. I've peeked. The other room had a bit of a smell, so that one I should think about. They're not dry, they only look dry. I thought my walls and floor was dry after having the window open for months over the summer. Huh. Well, all right. I will set up the humid. I've got 2 rooms, I'll just alternate, I suppose. That thing you love says, oh, hi. Oh, cool, I'm Ace. Specifically, I'm Ego. Oh, hi, Ego, I'm Dad. I see your dad joke. It's dry, but it's dry now, unlike, say, 80s cologne or 80s drinks. Type of gifts, I see you and I thank you. My own power used against me. Yes. The last person I saw that was a professional bladesmith was working a blacksmithing spot in Summerfair. Oh, nice. And you know, the thing is, I have a leather strop. I've got a really nice strop. Unfortunately, I cannot hook my strop to a hook in this apartment because that would involve some drilling, which I don't want to do. So I'm kind of in a spot where I can't strop my blade, but I also need to get it honed first before I can go and start stropping again. I'm just telling you, but I did want to finish that thought. They're not going to do it themselves. They will have contacts for professionals in the area. Ah, Volpez. Thank you. Sharpening razor can take a couple of hours of slow, careful work. Couldn't you buy a cheapo straight razor to try and see if someone is good at sharpening or not? Unfortunately, you can't really get good cheapo straight razors, is what I would say. Unfortunately. If you smell something silly, yeah, so I've got to set it up in the bedroom because the bedroom was like funky. What brought on the Ace Convo? Oh, because I'm playing, well, I'm trying to play, but right now the PS4 is being weird. It's being weird. Oh, what was that? Yeah, because right now it's being weird. And yeah, it's being weird. Why are you being weird? So right now, my controller's being weird. I don't know why, because it shouldn't be, but it's being weird at the moment. But I'm theoretically playing the Outer Worlds, is what I'm doing, theoretically. And the Outer Worlds has got some great Ace representation in it. So like my buttons are working, but my sticks aren't working, which is weird. I have a thought though, I have an idea about it. So we were talking about one of the characters in the Outer Worlds who's Ace but not Arrow, and so like we're just talking about that. I have an idea though. Better to humidify for no reason than to get mold. Yeah, I'll set it up in the bedroom. I'm the opposite from the character. I'm Arrow but not Ace. I think it's from relationship damage. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, yeah, Nephilim. I have been shaving with a straight razor for 20 years, a little bit less than 20 years. But the main reason why I use a Oliver Queen as Arrow, well, actually, what I would say is that men who are aro but ace is basically the norm in our society, or that's the assumption of the norm. We think of sort of like being ace as being queer, but like the man who wants to have sex, like wants to bang chicks, but doesn't want to have relationships with them. That's pretty much a normal stereotype of men, right? Like, so the asexual, the heterosexual aromantic man is a pretty common representation. Like that happens a lot. On the flip side, like society assumes, like the assumption is that men are heterosexual aromantic. That's the assumption for men, and the assumption for women by society, these are stereotypes of course, is that women are heteroromantic but demisexual, right? That women don't really want to have sex unless they have an emotional relationship first. Like, so there are things that are part of the ace spectrum that are also sort of mainstream ideas about heterosexuality in men and women. And those are, so it's like, it's interesting to sort of think about mainstream heterosexuals as queer within the idea, because like there's the idea that everyone on the ace spectrum is also queer, which then makes mainstream heterosexuals queer, right? Or at least the stereotypes of mainstream heterosexuals become queer people because of the ways in which society assumes demisexuality as being sort of part and parcel of women's sexuality, and aromanticism as being part and parcel of men's sexuality. I just think that's interesting. Thankfully, I don't fit into that. I've always been pan, but now I'm just so uninterested and downright turned off by the concept of any kind of physical relationship with people that I've slipped into aro. And back to the problems of generalizations. Oh, hey, Goblin Katie. I don't know if you noticed, but you just subscribed to my channel, and I don't think you know what that means. But you do, because this is your 3rd month subscribing, but that does mean something. And that just means the name game. Come on, everybody. I say now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name. I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F. On M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fana, info. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Goblin Katie, Goblin Katie, Goblin Katie, Boblin Katie, banana, fana, for Foblin Katie, fee, fi, mo, moblin, Katie, yeah. Goblin Katie, thank you for that resub, Goblin Katie. How are you doing? How are you? Woo. I'm so excited for this. You only get electrocuted so many times before you stop pulling the electric wires. I do love those pajama party emotes. They're perfect for a dance party. I do love them too. Hey, but look, real quick, I'm going to get my other controller, because I've got another PS4 controller just like right over there, and I'm going to replace that one with this one, and I'm going to see what happens. It's just going to be like 2 seconds though, because it's just in the other room. Like, it's just over there, you know, over there. Look, you all just go, don't behave while I get the other controller. I want to set up the, the thing, the whatnot. We can talk about it. I'm back. Don't go anywhere. I'm back. Ooh. Hello. So I'm gonna, I've got this other controller, and I am going to swap out my controller, and we'll see if the problem was the controller. Because if the problem was the controller, then we fixed it, and then everything is fine, and then our life is great, and then we can find out what's up. Let's misbehave. How does one misbehave in the foxhole? Well, I can tell you how you misbehave in the foxhole. It would be all sorts of army-related things, probably. Sex, Siva. So there we go. All right. Yes. Wait, it was more than 2. Well, could have been like almost more than 2. It was like related to 2. Oh, yeah. So anyway, that was like a kind of interesting thought about what are you doing over there? What are you doing? Remote play is being ridiculous. Put out a remote play. Stop being ridiculous. Don't switch. I lost my connection to the PS4. That's fine. That's also fine. There, and then I'm just gonna reconnect and it'll be all right. Just don't be ridiculous. You know, what's up with that? Anyway, I know that you will get, I know what will get you banned, but that seems like a higher level nonsense or typical shenanigans. What about the nine-tailed fox? A court martial probably decides, maybe. Also, Rissa, thank you, because I was thinking about the song over there. Over there. What are you doing? What is happening? There we go. All right, that's great. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on there. There's a bit of a shenanigans. Anyway, 80s colognes, while I'm sort of trying to figure out what's... Yeah, that's great. I understand that I lost the connection to my PS4. I'm aware. Here, we'll do that. Let's see. PS remote play. Force quit. Great. That should be good. We're awesome. I'm going to bring it back up again, and I feel like we'll be awesome, and then we can play. I guess they'll be if the... are there any... Oh, army fashions. Yes. So it's really interesting to me. So this is... Okay, so I joined the army in 1990, right? So I just sort of... This is for background. I joined the army in 1990. So I was... yeah, Time of Gifts is very good. So I joined the army in 1990, and I was there in the 90s. And which brings me to another topic I'll get to in a second. Also want to talk about game design. Hey, guess what? We're in, everybody. We're in, so we can talk while we're wandering around. This is great. So I was in the army, right? In the 19... Ooh, Rissa, remind me to put... There's an RPG that's missing from the RPG commands, and remind me to... Wait. Remind me to put that in the RPG command. So where are we? Oh, we're good. Yes, we're going into this building. There's a quest here. So, we're in. Just in time to... I have a question. There's this saying, she wants to have the cake and eat it, and I think it's odd because you have to have cake. If you do not have the cake, there's no cake to eat to begin with. Yeah, Fate of Cthulhu has to go in the RPG command. No, Ice Bunny, you cannot have your cake and eat it too, because if you eat the cake, then you no longer have it. So the point is, you cannot have this cake that is beautiful to look at and then also eat it, because once you eat it, the cake is gone. So you can either have your cake or you can eat it and then not have the cake. So it's the idea is that you cannot both have this thing, but then also consume it, because once you've consumed it, then you no longer have the cake. This is pretty, by the way. Thank you, Rissa. Okay, so.
You ever get the urge to just hawk one on the floor?
Oh, hey, folks. Here, this is Parvati. She's she's like our first companion who we first get to meet, and she is the ace character who is, trying to work out a relationship. We're doing a little bit of matchmaking with her, which we will totally do, once we figure out what's going on in this space here. Let Them Eat Cake has gotten such a bad rap over the centuries that cake is... I don't think she even actually said that. Apparently, Marie Antoinette never even said, let them eat cake. That was just not even true. I know her updated armor is different. So...
Welcome to the official headquarters of the Halcyon Holdings Corporation.
Oh, thanks.
Today's greeting is brought to you by Auntie Cleo, a subsidiary of Colway Pharmaceuticals.
Oh, thanks. That's nice. It might be Sam Delev, maybe. Thank you, Rissa. Let me turn up the game volume for you all as we are here. Ooh. Yes. But you have the happy cake in the tum-tum, and the cake's ultimate goal of every cake is to end life in the tummy. But that's why you cannot have your cake and eat it too. But like, if what you want is to have that perfect thing, that perfect cake that you just look at and that is beautiful, then it's just there, then you can't eat it, because once you eat it, then it's, no longer there. You mean after the hoarder? I mean, after Trooper let her have some protection? Yeah, yeah. She said let them eat brioche, which was as sensible as it was used less wheat. My understanding is that she actually didn't say any of that. That was actually just a bunch of.
Today's greeting is brought to you by Auntie
Thank you.
Cleo,
Royalist
Do we really need all this security?
propaganda is what I
I have
heard.
to go through 3 checkpoints just to take a bathroom break.
Can't be too careful. Dissidents like Phineas Wells will stop at nothing to ruin this colony.
But couldn't they concentrate the security outside the building so we can get some work done?
Why are you so bothered by having a few guards around? I think I'm gonna have to speak to your supervisor about these dissonant leanings of yours.
This seems distressing.
Wait, that's not what I meant.
Oh, okay. Nobody work here. It's bad.
Name game.
Ooh, the name game, by the way. Somebody just said something really wonderful, and it was, wait, I didn't want to lose it because it was really good. Nephilim says, accept the beauty of impermanence. Nephilim, that is so beautiful. Nephilim, I'm going to sing the name game right now. Right now I'm going to sing it, but I would like to come back to that comment because I want to come back to that comment because I love it. The name game. Come on, everybody. I say now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name. I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F. On M will appear. And then I say bow at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. And Bar Garwin, and Bar Garwin, Bar Garwin, Bo Bum Bar Garwin, banana, fanner, fo from Bar Garwin, fee, fi, mama, Bar Garwin. I'm Bar Garwin. Thank you for that resub. I'm Bar Garwin. I'm Bar Garwin. Thank you. I'm Bar Garwin and I. We played the RPGs over at the Gen Con, even though one day the Gen Con will happen. I don't know. It's the thing. Okay, good example of Super's hoarding. He can't have his weight maxed out with every loose object and pick up the shiny new weapon. That's true. That's true. Sounds like pro-royalist propaganda that it was anti-royalist propaganda. I see you, Scabby Dack. Thank you so much, Embar Garwin. Schrodinger's cake, yes. Embar Garwin says impermanence is beautiful. The joy of entropy is eternal. Ooh, we're all getting philosophical and I love it. Coldrake says, and we tend to hold those things that are fleeting with reverence because they are fleeting. One must enjoy those moments of beauty, happiness. One day my gen will come. As Bunny says, whoever made that up did not know about the Instagram photos because is the cake existing when it is not documented? Like the pipe, you have the image of the perfect cake. But like the pipe, the image of the pipe is not the pipe, right? And so this leads us to, by the way, we're gonna go to a place. So here becomes this really interesting question, right? There are people who, when they go on vacation, they just record everything, but they don't experience it, right? They take photographs of the things, but they see everything through the camera lens. They don't see the thing itself. They take videos of the things, but they don't experience it. So if you just have a photo of the cake, do you have the cake or do you just have a photo of the cake, right? You have a photo, you don't have the cake, you have a photo of the cake. Right? If a tree falls in the woods and no one has cake, well, then no one has cake, and that is really a problem, right? So the question is the photo of the thing the same thing as the thing? Magritte would say no. Magritte would say that actually, no, the photo of the thing is a photo of the thing, it is not the thing itself. But the image of the weeping angel of her is a weeping angel. Yeah. You know, a photo of Ben Grimm is not Ben Grimm. So it's interesting, right? Because it depends on where you're, is the photo in smell-o-vision, right? So what's interesting is that somebody like Adorno would say that the reproduction is not the thing, that the thing has the aura and the essence and the reproduction does not. And so therefore reproductions, he didn't like reproductions very much. But Benjamin, and these are all people who are hanging out like in Germany in the 1930s and being distressed about what was happening. Hello?
Please step away. This entry is for high priority HHC business only.
Okay, that's cool. But Benjamin, who was also hanging out in Germany in the 1930s, he would say that the photograph of the painting does not have the aura of the painting, but he thinks that's good because he thinks the aura that's in the painting is basically just like weird classism and grossness, that he thinks that it's actually like that it's better to have all these photographs of the Mona Lisa because then everyone can have access to the Mona Lisa that way. Right? So there's like some thoughts about that. Let's see. But there's no proof the cake exists, and food for photos are generally not edible. What lasts under lights for the photos is not what you would eat, right? Oh, well, that's Vulpes. That's true, right? A lot of the things that look like delicious cakes are not anything you would ever want to eat in real life because they're not actually. It's true, and also as we know with Photoshop, many of the things we see photographs of are not at all corporeal. They're not corporeal. They are something, right? They are a specific thing. They are a thing, but they're not corporeal. I'm going to make the opposite argument as well, by the way. Rissa says, always forget to take pictures at special occasions. It's because I'm experiencing the event. Then I have to rely on my crappy memory in the future. This whole photo is a thing reminds me of how in certain cultures felt like taking a picture somehow would try to take your soul, right? So then like, right, that becomes then the photo can steal the aura. The photo or writing or whatever other medium stands as a placeholder for the thing. Sort of, but then I'm going to make an opposite argument as well. Time of Gift says, Trooper, I think you've got me so confused with this philosophy that I need a strong 80s drink now. Maybe that is true. Cakes are generally iced with plaster or mashed potatoes and such. Ooh, I didn't know that, Vulpes. Creepy. A photo would be cake frozen in time and space because 4 or 5 week old cake is a very sad aura and is wasted food. Adonis Nimbus says, and this reminds me of an image saying the internet will argue over anything. For example, this is a rock with the first comment, no, it's a boulder. Oh, yeah. And then someone said, no, that's a photo. And the next person's like, no, that's a PNG. Yeah. So I got into a really, by the way, 80s cologne. I'm going to show them the access card.
Huh. I didn't realize we were still using those iridescent stickers.
Yep.
But this looks right.
Thank you.
I'll just need you to register your weapons with a revised request to carry 32B form. Each weapon will need a separate form.
You'd better be joking.
I'm not authorized to employ humor on the job, sir. Now, let's see.
How about you just save us both the trouble?
I run out of forms?
Yeah, and just let me through.
I was going to suggest that myself.
Sweet.
Look, you don't have time to wait on new forms.
Sure.
And I can't afford the citations for impeding HAC business.
Yeah.
So I'm going to save us both some trouble and waive your forms.
You know what? Mighty fine of you.
Just know there are a bunch of guards upstairs, and they're all high on dervish mist and low on patience.
Oh.
So try anything funny, and they'll paint the walls with their guts.
Oh, okay. Well, gosh, that was aggressive. You know, I'd go Aristotle with this and say that photos are a shadow of the thing it is of, a lesser version of the thing that it refers to. So this is really interesting, Umbar Garwin, and I just have to, like, I'm going to get to 80s Cologne, I swear. We're going to talk about Drakkar Noir. But I do want to bring this up because I got into an argument. I was taking a class in performance studies, and we were like reading like a lot of performance theory, performativity, and all that business. This is in grad school, and this is important to note that this was a performance studies class, and so everybody who was in the class in the seminar, they were all performance studies people, right? So they were all like theater people. I am a theater person, but I got my degree in musicology, and I got my undergraduate degree in electronic performance, electronic music composition. So they were going on and on about how like live things are the thing, and then like recorded things are the shadow, they're not the real thing. And do we have to, I finally got Drakkar Noir out of my sense memory, now it's back. Oh, Drakkar Noir is coming back, because that's part of the conversation that I wanted to have with you, because I learned something really interesting. I was reading something very fascinating, and I want to share it with you because hello, Sentinel, because I care about you. These look like pumpkin heads, but they're not. So they were going on about how like only live things or performances, that they're the only, like, that's like the thing, right? Very, very like the thing in the shadow. And I was like, nah. And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, well, recorded things are also performances. And they're like, no, they're not. They're not performances because they're not live. And it has to be live for it to be a performance. You have to have the original, the real thing. And I said, okay, yeah, but here's the thing. No. And they said, yes, for multiple reasons. Their point being that for it to be a performance, it has to be able to change. And when you have something live, like the live performance on Thursday is different from the live performance on Friday. Like things can change, which makes it a performance, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, I have got my degree in electronic music composition, wherein the electronic music is the original. Like there are genres wherein the recorded thing is the original. It's not a shadow of some other original thing. It is the original, and it could only be made within that medium. And so when you go to hear like one of my pieces, I was going to play play you one of my pieces one of these days, wasn't I? Right, when you go to the place to hear one of my pieces, that is the performance, right? It is not a shadow of something else. It is the thing in and of itself. And so I was trying to make the case that actually recorded things also are things themselves, and that if you listen to a recorded piece more than one time, you hear it differently each time because you yourself have changed. And they were like, no, electronic music, which is avant-garde stuff. It's not techno. Techno is electronic dance music, but I made electronic sort of avant-garde music. Drakkar Noir was launched in 1982. This was so popular that it won a Fifi Award for Best Men's Fragrance in 85. Its heavy and masculine advertising made it a household name in the 80s and 90s. It was the best-selling men's prestige scent in 1991. This is described as an aromatic fougere scent, and it really helped cement the trend. The price is $65 for 3.4 ounces over 100 millimeters. And I'm going to talk about Drakkar Noir because I'm almost done with this performance thing. But the name game. Come on, everybody. I say now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name. I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F. On M will appear. And then I say bow at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. But if the first two letters are ever the same, I drop them both and say the name. I like Bob, Bob drop the B's, Bo, or Fred, Fred drop the F's, for Red, or Mary, Mary drop the M's and Mo, Airy. That's the only rule that is contrary. Barantor, 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 Bo, Arantor, Banana, Fana, Fo, Farantor, Fee, Fi, Mo, Marantor. Barantor, What? Thank you for that resub, Barantor. It's good to see you. Yeah. So what was it? So if it costs more than $5, I'd never touch the stuff. Tomica says, it's like, I like trying to play Yellow Submarine by the Beatles. It's almost impossible to do live. Right. And like the recording is the thing now. So if there's one perfect piece, item, cake, all the others are only shadows of something to reach that perfection. That's very Aristotle. And a song you couldn't stand in your teens may speak directly to your soul in your 50s. Yes. And there's only one city that all others are just reflections of. Coldrake says, I hated the Beatles when I was a kid. One of their specials preempted a Star Trek episode I've been waiting for. But it got me to start doing sketch art. Later in life, I found out that I enjoyed the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's. Right, and so like I think that actually, even though it's recorded, right, you actually do experience it differently based on where you are in your life. So it's actually not the same. So then they were like, but it is the same. No, because they were being like irritating. And so then I had to bust out my technical knowledge because they were being irritating. So actually, I gave an example first, which is a cool example, which I will share with you, and then we'll talk about Drakkar. Hello, Corporate Sentinels. So there's a film, Lord of the Flies, the one from the 60s by Peter Hall, I believe it is. Peter Hall, I think it is. And in the art history field, the document of a performance is often the only thing that can be considered the artwork because reenacting will not be the same as it was. Right. And so this this film.
Apologies for the wait. I was arranging my stationery.
Cool. So my mom read to me Lord of the Flies as a bedtime story when I was like in elementary school. That probably says too much about me, but it's fine. So like that was a book that I was like really invested in. And so my mom read it to me as a bedtime story. I read it in school, and there was one time I was in middle school, must have been like 12 or 13, and I was home alone. I was like babysitting my little sister, but she was asleep. So it was just me in the house by myself, and my parents were out having dinner. I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13. And the movie Lord of the Flies came on the television. It's in black and white. It's really good. And it was the first time I'd seen it. And I'm watching this movie. It's in black and white. I'm home alone in the dark. My sister's asleep. I'm watching this thing that I was read as a bedtime story that I've read before. Prax! And there's a part in the movie where the kids have heard that the beast, like, so the kids got this idea that there's this beastie in the woods, right? And they're all freaked out about it. They're all this stuff. And one of the kids is like, we saw the beast in the woods. And they're all afraid to go there. And so like the three main kids, they go and they creep out to find out where the beast is in the woods. In the movie, they're like creeping out there and they climb up to the space where the beastie is. And the beastie is a pilot who had ejected from his airplane, but had died. And he's caught in the trees and he's sort of like hanging from his parachute, if I remember correctly. And they sort of creep up on him and he like turns his face towards the camera. And his face was this sort of like monstrous gorilla face. It was this like scary, monstrous gorilla face, and the kids freak out and they run away. And I was like, oh, that was so scary. And thought the movie was great. Then I didn't see the movie. Barrett was like, wow, I rewatched it again recently and it's very creepy. Peter Brook, thank you, Peter Brook. Oh, Kyrie, yes. Kyrie, oh, yeah. All of you who are singing the Kyrie eleison part, so brilliant. And then it goes from Kyrie eleison to like kill the pig, so brilliant. So the thing is, I watched that movie again like 15 years later, maybe like 10, 15 years later. And when I watched it again and we got to the part where they go to see the beast in the woods and the person's face sort of moves over, there is no monster face in that movie. It's just a pilot's mask. Like in the movie, there is no monster face. There's a pilot's mask. But when I was like 12 or 13 and I watched that movie by myself in the middle of the night and the pilot turned to face the camera, I saw like a monster's face. And if I'd only seen the film once, I would to this day still believe that there was a monster's face in that movie. Seeing it a second time 10 years later in the daytime, I saw a pilot's mask. So as I was arguing that actually the thing itself might change, your perception of the thing itself can change quite radically depending on when you see it, how old you are, what time in your life. And so the idea that only a live performance is the real thing and recorded things are not real because they don't change is not true, because clearly I saw two different things, right? Like, yeah, my subconscious was just giving me like a whole different thing, and they, yeah, the brain is odd. So clearly, since we interact with the world with our brain, like we see different things. And they just did not want to allow film, television, or recorded things to be performances because they were like weirdo, like theater snobs. And let me tell you, I grew up doing theater, so I was like, come on now. And so they were like, but it doesn't technically, literally change. Right, and praxis, this is the reason why eyewitness testimony is notoriously unreliable. Yes, totally. And so they were like, but it doesn't actually change, so it doesn't really count. And so then I had to get all scientific and technical on them. Because, you know, I actually...
Personal assistant to Adjutant Akande and Chairman Rockwell.
Cool.
I'm also responsible for organizing the adjutant's stationery.
Okay.
Which is more of a hobby.
All right. But, so, you know, Atomica says, one of the fun things people forget in modern horror, let bad things happen off screen sometimes. The mind will come up with worse stuff than the makeup crew. Oh yeah, totally. And Koldrick says, and it is not true that most performances are interpretations of the written music. I mean, you don't follow the original. Yeah. But see, they would say that's what makes it a performance, right? Because you've got the interpretation, because like they would argue that that's what makes it that's what makes it real, right? That they would say, the people in the seminar I was taking with, that the score is not the real thing. It's the performance that's the real thing, because it can be different, right? And it's the fact that it can be different and can change that makes it a performance and not just like a text. they also thought that performances were better than other things, so they were trying to make a case for the things that they did being better than everything else. And I was like, ooh, hold up a second, wait a minute. They also wanted to make the case that like anything live was a performance, including things like shoe sales. Like if you went to Macy's for a shoe sale, that would be a performance. Like they wanted everything live to be a performance, but they didn't want film, television, scores, recordings to be performances. That was where they were at. And they were like, we were like going at it in seminar because I was the only person who was a music person there. Gonna sort of note that one. Courier says, not being able to view recordings of lots of plays musicals sucks. It's such an elitist, unacceptable dickery. I agree with you. I agree. And also there are things, you know, Rissa says, and in this day and age of Easter eggs, there's so many things to see that you will not pick up on a single viewing. Completely. And the viewing in a movie theater is different than viewing at home where you can pause or rewind. 100%, like those are all different. Time of Gift says, absolutely true. Or the pictures are better on radio. Yeah, totally, right? Yeah. Same material with different directors, like Shakespeare does not make an identical experience for the viewer, right? Which they would say, hey, Anarch W, which would they say makes the performance, right? Hey, Chromatic Chameleon. Prax says, so when I was teaching high school, I created a film club to educate my students on a number of classic films. Ooh, this is exciting. And they legit said that black and white films could not be scary. And I was like, okay, we're going to watch this movie and you will see scary. And that's how I scared a room full of high school students with Psycho. That is amazing, right? And so because they were being really, I'm going to say exciting.
The art of arranging stationery is a never-ending source of joy and satisfaction. Will there be anything else?
Oh, I wanted to talk to the chairman, really, is what I wanted to do.
How may I be of assistance?
Well, okay, so we're just gonna go and talk to the chairman, is what I think. We're just gonna go.
UDL security attendant is always prepared.
I think
Move along.
we may not be able to talk to the chairman now. I think. Oh no. Okay. How are we? Oh, did I ruin life forever? I think I just ruined the game for life. I think the game is over and I've ruined it forever. But I need to finish this thought. This is really important to me to share with you. So here's the thing. They were going on and on about how like, but it doesn't matter because the thing doesn't change, blah, blah, right? But this is when I was like, okay, if you want to be all like technical, ticky-tacky technical, like that about it, you're also talking to the wrong person if that's what you want to do. If that's what you want to do, I will see your like, it doesn't change, blah, 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 and I will raise you. Because they're like, that's interpretation, it's not the same thing. The thing itself doesn't change. The things that we do are real and the things you do are fake. That's where they were at. And I was like, I see how you are. So, does chat think we'll get to number 1 on the list? Oh no, I totally will. Like film and movies, I can understand because it can be changed after seeing how it comes out, but it still sounds like they're being elitist more than voicing an actual difference. And then Ice Bunny says, in the 70s, artists went into a museum and turned it into a playground for kids. Tons of institutional kids anarchy museums where you can just do things and no health or safety. When they try to reenact it, they got so many health and safety regulators and they end up being a bigger space where grown-up instructs kids. Yeah, of course, because you can't do that. You can't do what you did in the 70s, right, at all. Or you just go back to the dialogue moments. Yeah. So I know practice is amazing. So what I said to them, because they were being really like, I don't know how I'm going to get through here now. This is going to be a bit of a tricky
How
thing.
may I be of assistance? Personal assistant to Adjutant Akande and Chairman... Oh,
Yeah.
You were being serious.
Yeah.
I'm obliged to inform you that Chairman Rockwell is unavailable for an indeterminate duration. Will there be anything else? Personal assistant...
Yeah, you're not going to let me... Yeah,
Oh,
I see.
You were being serious.
We're going to find a way in
I'm obliged to
here.
inform you that Chairman Rockwell
find a
is
way.
unavailable for an indeterminate duration.
So
Will there be anything else?
what I said to them, because they were being really weird about it, was, you say that for something to be performance, the performance itself has to change, not just your interpretation of it. And I said, well, in that case, recorded things still count. Because every single time you play a cassette tape or a film, like on film, we're talking analog, but we can make the case with digital as well, there's a little bit of degradation. And so every single time you play it, it actually isn't the same physically because it has degraded. And you know this to be true if you've ever listened to one of your cassette tapes that's like 20 years old and like it's all bassy, because it basically loses some of the filaments that are adhered to the tape itself fall off over time every time you sort of play through it. Same thing with a record. Every time you put a needle on a record, it sort of like changes the grooves a little bit. So something you've played 1,000 times is just every time you play it, it's going to sound a little bit different. And then once you play it a gazillion times, again, it's just not physically the same thing. And so I got them. I was like, not the same. And there is evidence also that digital things also degrade over time. And so, yeah, not the same. Just gonna say, that's what I'm gonna say. I was like, if you're gonna be all weird about it, I can be technical. Like, ooh, look at this. This is some nice Art Nouveau stained glass windows. And there's a huge mass. Let's close the door.
Excuse me, just a moment.
Nope, gonna close the door. There we go. Just closing the door.
Is there something I can do for you?
No, not at all. Ellie, would you close the door? I don't want him looking at me. That would be nice. Like, let's just close these doors because they don't need to be in here.
I beg your pardon. Minister Clark's former office is currently closed to solicitors.
Now, I suppose now you just have to make a Renaissance dress, Prax. Or Rissa says, or if you left the cassette tape in the car on a 90-degree day. Barentor says, also each playback device isn't the exact same. Some may play bass a bit more, etc. Yes. Coldrick says, this is why Soundophil said, play the record and record it. Play the recording to save the grooves. Yes, right? Yes. Coldrick's like, I like Art Deco moderation. Or they can be played on newer technology. Sure, yes. And Rissa says, and frankly, I can listen to the same MP3s on my laptop with different speakers, and the sound is different. And that is also true. And also, I really should have more lie. That's really weird.
I suppose that
is weird, right?
Admissible. Please try not to break anything.
I won't. I am, however, going to close the doors so you're not looking at me while I look at this massive hole that is in the wall that, I don't know about you, looks pretty suspicious to me. That's all. And also, I really feel like I should have enough lie. Like, I'm super lie-y, you know? Like, what's my lie? Oh, you know what's up right now? Oh, look at that. I'm just one low. Because I haven't eaten food. It's because I'm hungry. That's what it is. I need to eat some food because I'm going through withdrawals right now. So I'm gonna just eat this food. And now my lie should be back up to a regular space. Oh, I was hungry. Especially after meeting, Trooper Sianto should be a lot higher. Oh, yes, the dude will look at you through the hole. Like, oh, there are flying things in the background. We should go look at that. Looks beautiful. Eat food for a yeah. I'm getting food between streams. And now up to session 6 for a day, which is, gosh, Atomica. So, basically, it was very interesting to sort of ponder that. But back to Drakkar Noir, which is basically also related to a bunch of other things. So,
this goes to show you never really see your hometown until you travel with a visitor.
That's true. So, I was talking to somebody. I was talking to Lindy, although I might have told Prax this as well. So, this is about Yanto. So with Yanto, the character Yanto that I play in Prax's Witcher game, when I get dressed up for Yanto, I always spray on a splash of cologne because I just feel like Yanto wears cologne. Yanto smells good. And so it's part of my steel broken snow globe. Sure, I'll do that. It's part of like getting into characters is to wear some cologne for this particular character because this character would wear cologne. I wear Drakkar Noir when I'm playing Yanto because Yanto would clearly wear something like Drakkar, would not wear like one of these other scents that's like super. Yeah, I'm just saying that like that's just like a true thing. So anyway, I was thinking about Drakkar Noir, and I was thinking about Well, I was thinking about, I always thought Gante would smell like cinnamon and eucalyptus, but actually Drakkar Noir has cinnamon in it and also eucalyptus. So like it actually has cinnamon in it and also mint. That's the thing about Drakkar. It has cinnamon, mint, eucalyptus, leather. It's a very sort of complicated smell. Drakkar Noir was your smell in the 90s and early 80s. And take a look at, I will totally look out the window for you 100%. I'm just gonna steal some stuff first, and then I will look out the window. Just a little bit of stealing. So I was thinking about how, back in the day, right, in the 80s and 90s, people wore colognes and perfumes quite a lot, but now it's not really a thing. Like, some people still do, but a lot of people don't wear colognes or perfumes anymore. It's not as done as much sometimes because people say that, like, some people are allergic and so people should not wear scents, and just generally, I'm currently using very sexy. If the police find out, they will arrest me for false advertising. Whoa! 80s perfume in general was very spicy compared. Yes, it was. Axe is still, but see, Axe is a body spray, right? And so we went from colognes to body sprays, which I think is interesting. Right, that there was like that, there was a shift, right, from colognes to body sprays or body mists, all these sorts of things. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Anyway, so I was thinking about Drakkar, and I was thinking about how Drakkar was and sort of still is my scent. By the way, I've got a new thing to tell you about Drakkar. This is very exciting. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look up Drakkar Noir on the internet. I'm gonna look it up. And Axe, high karate. Some of those hit you in the face like a brick wall. But this is what I learned. How interesting is this? So, as Coldrake points out, that Drakkar Noir was invented in the 80s, and that Drakkar Noir is basically an 80s... Well, first off, this one site that I was read was all about scents, said that Drakkar changed men's fragrances radically. Like, what men smelled like before Drakkar and after just changed radically, which I thought was really interesting. The problem with Axe is most teens don't understand that it's not a shower replacement. Yeah, and hypersensitivity is a thing, and so people like are, you know, changing that. Are you going to wear Drakkar? And if I'm like, first off, I want a black members only jacket, and I cannot find one right now, but I will get one. I will get a black members only jacket. Colognes became a high market. Not sure if that was always the case or an invention of the 20th century branding. I think it was the smell, the type of palette that Drakkar was that changed a lot of things. So I'm about to complete a quest. I'm so excited. I always bought ladies I liked white satin. It was subtle. Well, the 80s had some very unsubtle ladies perfumes as well. Like Red was pretty unsubtle. Lady Stetson was pretty unsubtle. Or, you know. By the way, I'm going to send Minister Clark's message to Earth because he wants me to. So I'm going to do that because the minister wants that. So anyway, I was thinking about Drakkar being like an 80s scent, like really being a scent of the 80s, and in like carrying over into the 90s. Poison, oh, that's another one. Centuries back, strong smells help cover the fact that they didn't bathe very often, but I imagine the what it smelled like. So I was thinking about how I still like Drakkar, because I was reading this page and they're like, yeah, people don't wear Drakkar anymore because it's just not the scent of what is now. It seems old, even though it was like young and hip at one point in time, but it's not like a smell that people, it's other smells. And I was thinking about how I recall the shift away from Drakkar. Like, Drakkar was like what I was wearing, but I remember then it went to Polo, Eternity, CK1. These different smells became this, and they were like soapier. Like I wasn't really into, like, Eternity was okay. Community challenge. Eternity was okay, but unlike, like, Polo was not my jam. Like, it kind of moved away from that kind of really spicy, like Drakkar's really quite spicy and dark, and we moved away from that kind of spicy and dark smell to this kind of, I don't know, like kind of a soapier smell, which I wasn't super into, but like that was that shift as we sort of moved out of that 80s, 90s moment. Calvin Klein pushed several smells in the 80s trying to hit the right mix. Yeah. I do need a song. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think about it. Maybe like Celebration, maybe. I'm going to think about it. So it's like thinking about like, thinking about like perfumes as being from like certain decades. And then I was thinking about this. I'm going to look at a priority message. Then I was thinking about drinks also being by decades, because most of the drinks that I drank in the Army, I found a website that said that these are typical 80s drinks, right? That the Sex on the Beach, Alabama Slamma, all these kind of really bright cocktails with a lot of Midori that are like these kinds of things were apparently really 80s drinks and are not in fashion anymore. And so I was thinking, oh, okay, well, so even though I didn't like, I'm an adult in the 90s, clearly the 80s sort of like stretches into the 90s. Like it's not like the 80s only end in the 80s, they clearly stretch into the 90s. But a lot of the things that were like part of my formative aesthetic, it turns out are 80s things, right? Or into the 90s, right? 80s into the 90s, like Drakkar, certain alcoholic beverages. And then I was thinking about certain fashion things, like rolling up my sleeves was a thing that we did in the Army all the time. We would like cuff our jeans and we'd cuff our t-shirts, right? So like, that was what you did if you were like, I mean, I don't know what officers did, but like working class people, like enlisted in the Army, we'd cuff our jeans, we'd cuff our t-shirt sleeves. And so I was just thinking about these certain things that I still do today that are part of this kind of, that are basically sort of 80s, 90s things, but they're not obvious 80s, 90s things like giant hair or shoulder pads. They're these little subtle things that you may not realize are actually still tied to this particular time period because it's about like drinks or colognes or things like that. And as I was thinking about the ways in which there are these fashion things that are really subtle that you may not realize have changed, like how you do your eyebrows, like, what your eyebrow shapes are like, and like all those things. So I was just like thinking about the really subtle things that change with fashion, and that was super interesting to me. Boom. That's what I was going to tell you. Vicky63 says, you were in the Army? I was in the Army. I was indeed. I was in the Army from 1990 to 1994, which was a time. It was a time. Yeah, guys, one more week in the crew gets a nice nest for the mini tango. Yes. If anyone knows a perfume that is fresh rain, sea, lake, river, can you let me know? Oh, Chromatic, that's a great question. I wonder, I bet there's a website that will help you find it. But, oh, wait, Chromatic, will you do me a favor? Will you do me a favor? This is really important. Will you go to the lounge in the foxhole and will you post your question in the foxhole and tag me specifically so that I will see it? Because Laugh Love Lindy knows of a person on Etsy that makes custom perfumes specified to your specifications. No, put it in Media Musings. No, put it in creative. Put it in creative. And Laugh Love Lindy got perfumes made for everybody in her. It was her gift to like to the crew. She got custom perfumes made for each of the PCs, and so she described what the PCs were like. And then this custom perfumier made a custom perfume or cologne for each one of the PCs. Like, well, this PC is mysterious, or this one's a magic user, whatever. And so if you have a very specific thing that you want, Chromatic, I bet this perfumier on Etsy, who wasn't very expensive, can make it for you. So in the Discord, tag me so that I can remember to ask Laugh Love Lindy for the link to that Etsy store so that I can give it to you so you can get the perfume exactly that you want. Boom. That's what you got. Atomica, I refuse to admit how many Midori sours I've had in my life. Admit it. Long Island iced tea. Yep, Long Island iced tea is another one. Basically, cocktails, right? And you can think about the movie Cocktail with Tom Cruise, like big and like not cocktails like now, but like there's a particular kind of cocktail that was very 80s, early 90s. Whereas I think now they're going for like really, bitter kinds of things. It's a very different fashion right now. Rissa says, all the fragrances I know of that use those labels smell nothing like them. I would buy them if they smelled right. Well, your experience through time molds your opinions and ideas. Definitely. Actually, lit was invented in the 70s, but hit popularity in the 80s. Yes, Long Island Tea, yeah. White Zinfandel, totally. Wine coolers. I mean, I don't think Cold Drake knows it, yeah. Slippery Nipple, Bartles and James wine coolers, right? Like, yes, right? Zima, I think Boone's was like really big in the 80s, 90s. Yes, I was talking, Vulpus, I was talking about how Drakkar Noir is a scent of the 80s, and that people don't wear it anymore, but I still like it. Oh, there's one other thing I forgot to tell you about Drakkar Noir. This is really, I forgot this. I was looking at this website all about perfumes. It's like a perfume cologne website. And you know what they told me? I didn't know this, but they gave me a workaround. This is so interesting. they cannot make Drakkar Noir with the original formula anymore. It's illegal. So the original, if you buy Drakkar Noir now, that is made right now, it will not smell the same as Drakkar Noir from the 80s and 90s. I still have some Drakkar Noir from the 80s and 90s, so I'm still smelling the original smell. But you cannot, it is illegal to make Drakkar Noir the way it smelled in the 80s and 90s because pure oak moss, I think that's what, there's one ingredient which I think is pure oak moss, or there's an oil that you're no longer allowed to use in colognes and perfumes. And it's one of the main, it was one of the core and central scents for Drakkar. And they, history, cologne, show all history. I'm gonna find this, oh, that's not what I wanted. Don't go there. Come on. Don't do that to me, internet. Let me go here, library, there, here, there we go. Where was it? History, where'd the history go? I will find it and I will put it in the Discord. But there's a basically it's like peat moss maybe, or something like that. Well, I don't even know where it went. That you can no longer use anymore. And so they've made an approximation of it, but the current Drakkar Noir does not smell like 80s, 90s Drakkar Noir because they cannot use this main crucial ingredient. But doing a little bit of internet searching, there is a perfume, a cologne called Drakkar. It's a specific type of thing, and it comes from the Middle East, and it smells the closest to the original Drakkar Noir that you can get, and it is also super cheap. It's like $15, and I'm going to get some. I just want you to know it. It's now NASCAR Noir. Zima's back. Is it really? Well, I didn't know that. Wine coolers are back. Oh, wine coolers are back. Oh, that's interesting. My sister actually accidentally drank a wine cooler with a neighbor's kid when she was like 11. I got like super drunk when I was 3. It's not good, it'll be fine. Sulfur and acid was my jam. I came from a drinking family, says Atomica. White Zin was for the kids at weddings and such because it was light. Oh, yeah, totally. I totally get it. Yep, retro fragrances from, ooh, Volpez. I'm going to copy that link location because that seems very exciting indeed. Put that right there. Chairman, the rough cut of the presentation is prepped to play. The PR department has a lot of work to do, but we've covered the basics. Halcyon is on the brink of starvation. The board scientists are working on a solution. Workers can look forward to the lifetime employment program for their chance to contribute. You'll see the current version when you print your keycard for the Ministry of Accuracy and Morale. And yes, before you ask, the methyl sulfoxide has been delivered there. It's waiting for your sign-off on the broad strokes, so I wanted to make sure you saw it. Don't worry, I'll make sure it gets properly edited. Sophia, let's just print that Ministry keycard. Because clearly there's some kind of problems here. Oh.
Good afternoon. I'm Chairman Rockwell, and I'm here to address a serious issue facing us. As you all know, our colony has been successful beyond our wildest dreams. Unfortunately, we've recently discovered that our food supply will not be able to sustain Halcyon's population in the long term. Everyone will die. Everyone will slowly stop living from malnutrition. But we're doing it together, and that's what matters. I fucking swear, if someone doesn't give me something to read that will placate the masses soon, all of you will find yourselves violently unemployed. But I can assure you there's nothing to fear. We've got a solution. It's called the Lifetime Employment Program. We will freeze most of the colony to preserve resources, while the best and brightest of Byzantium continue living in prosperity. Look, you idiots! How many times do I have to tell you we can't say shit like that? Fire whoever wrote this! While Halcyon's brightest minds solve the problem of our nutritional shortage, the rest of the colony will be placed in suspended animation. Individuals will be revived on a rotating basis, so that every Halcyon-ite can be part of the important work of saving our colony.
This sounds bad, everyone.
By testing paperweights. Sorry, couldn't resist. Let's go again. And someday, in the not-too-distant future when we've solved this crisis,
Seems
we'll
bad.
all be back together again working for the good of Halcyon. Until then, the board shall provide for the deserving just as it always has. So, obey your supervisors, take your vitamins, follow your corporate-mandated grooming rituals, and rest assured with the board on your side, there is nothing to worry about.
This seems bad. This seems bad, everyone. It seems bad. It was apparently board
That was
approved.
all a story, wasn't it? It's not real.
No, it sounds pretty real to me.
I don't know about you, but I'm all for living fast and dying young.
Well, who are these people? Come on now. Just what is going on? We got look, they're making a left turn and another left turn, another. We're going to commercial. Don't worry, you aren't gonna miss a goddamn thing. You always want them to spray some on you so you can figure out if you can. Yeah, the Scent Master skin. Barber says, "Did you like Drakkar Noir because it means black dragon? You like fantasy? Maybe. Yes. Wine boxes were a thing in the UK and Ireland in the 80s. Oh yeah, us too. We had like boxes of wine, along with unemployment, immigration, and yeah. Unemployment, immigration is a long-standing tradition of Ireland. Exactly why I left. Yeah. Although you were the Celtic Tiger for a while, like in the aughts, like it was a Celtic Tiger. There was like a like moment, right? Good perfume shops have a glass of coffee beans to reset your nose. Oh. Atomica says, Trooper, if I ever do that thing I want to have you VO, I feel like it will have reels like this. I'm into it. Kuldrick says, an article from 2014 about the French perfume industry regarding problem items in colognes perfumes.
How much of the job is waiting for action?
Oak moss, that's what it was, right? The vial of oak moss explaining that its two molecules, atronol and chlorotronol, are to be banned on the grounds that they could cause up to 3% of the EU population to suffer an allergic reaction. A third compound, which replicates the scent of lily of the valley, called HICC or Lyrol, is also to be banned. Oh. Huh. But, so apparently, we cannot have either lily of the valley or oak moss, and that makes me a little sad, you know? Makes me just a little sad, because, you know, it reminds me of the Why Are We in Space video from Wall-E. We're gonna read these messages. Subject. That's why we can't have nice things, allergic reactions. Yeah, I was thinking about this, about something else. Side note, add this. We've just taken care of 1 and 2 on our list of things to talk about. We have Call of Cthulhu in Jan, which has to do with calendars. And now I would like to add in Can't Have Nice Things as like our 4th. So like 3 and 4. Yeah, but the Celtic Tiger led to such cronyism, incompetence, and general corruption in Ireland that the entire country went bankrupt. Ooh. That's okay. Now we've got topic 5, Kuldrick. Now, no, it makes me wonder why allergic reactions have risen since the 1950s. That's a thing I've really sort of thought about quite a lot. The ways in which conversations around allergies are just really, really different now, and that's really it's really interesting to me. Barentor says, Mrs. Barentor says that's why you can't have nickel and gold alloys because 15% of the population of the EU is allergic, so they banned that alloying in jewelry. Oh, that's interesting. Atomic says it's risen because people just aren't dying. Krellin says, hey Krellin, I never expected that sublight side quest to tie into the main quest, but then this happened. Yeah, right? Bankrupted the tiger by 2. I thought it was like the housing crisis. Instead of dying from demons and vapors and general war and thuggery, they were dying off of things that had always been around. Because I feel like discourse around allergies have changed since the 80s to now. It's only been like 40 years and it feels very different. Like, I mean, growing up, I had never heard of somebody dying because there was a peanut butter sandwich in the same cafeteria room as them. I don't remember hearing about that, but now we're at a space where there are people who are so allergic to peanuts that if they're in the same room as peanut butter, they will die. They don't have to eat the peanut butter. They just have to be in the same room as the peanut butter. And that was not what people talked about. Like, people did not talk about people dying of peanut butter allergies in that way in the 80s. And like, peanut butter sandwiches were not banned from schools as they are now. in the US and most of the places where I'm at. So it's just like it's just very interesting to me. Like, were people dying of were people like going into a cafeteria in the 1980s, being around peanut butter sandwiches, dying, and no one said anything ever? I feel like they would have, because we were all about think about the children in the 80s. So were peanut allergies just not that bad in the 80s, and now they're just much worse? Or because people clearly had peanut allergies in the 80s too, but like the strength of them seems to be higher now than they were before, or more widespread. I cannot give an answer to that, but it's a question. Think of it like this. If someone was illiterate in an era where only 10 to 15% of the world was reading, would they ever know? Allergies are very literally a first world problem. This is true, Adonis Nimbus. Developing countries have significant difference negative in the numbers of people with allergies. That's true. There's a lot less food allergies in developing countries than there are in developed countries. It's true. I wonder if it's just access to information and better access to healthcare that just leads to better reporting and diagnosis of allergies. Krellin notes, studies have suggested that we're making peanut allergies worse by quarantining it so severely. People exposed to peanuts in young life have less extreme reactions. I'd heard that too. Like, I'd heard that there's like something about like lack of access to dirt. Just like generally speaking, like the kind of cleanliness thing we're into right now. Lack of exposure to anything that might like kids used to eat mud. You know what I mean? Like that there's like maybe a general kind of protection that's causing some of these things to get worse. Percival, how long does it take to clear out an abandoned office? Toss Clark's belongings into the streets of Byzantium for all I care. He's not using them. Just get my office expansion done before I return. I'm tired of staring at that hole in the wall. And for law's sake, do something about that doom and gloom presentation. We have the brightest minds in Halcyon working on our public relations department. They make this announcement sound like a damned funeral elegy. We need something bright and cheerful. We need something we can sell. All right. This is Masseuse. Percival, reschedule my regular Wednesday massage. I have urgent matters to attend to off-site. Subject, food reserves. Chairman, I've made inquiries and can confirm that we have plenty of food, real food, stored away from our inter-colony trade. The nutritional profile of food produced within Halcyon has continued to decline. Soon people are going to start feeling hungry no matter what they eat. Unfortunately, it's gotten too expensive to continue buying from even the closest colonies, but what we have will sustain Byzantium and a minimal workforce for the foreseeable future. Sophia. Subject, the other corporations. Chairman, the heads of the other 9 corporations are up in arms about their shares again. As head of UDL, you can overrule them easily, but I thought you should know they're at it again. Percival. Well, none of this looks good at all. This all looks bad. I wonder where's Chairman Rockwell? Where's Chairman Rockwell, everybody? Off-site somewhere. Ice Bunny says, in the 80s, kids got dirty and more exposed to all types of now clean freaks. Atomic says, sorry, derp, not illiterate, dyslexic. Oh, yeah. No reading, so they'd never know. Like, how many people susceptible to strobe lighting would even have had an issue before cities and electricity were a thing? Totally. There's another thought about that. I wonder if that'll affect space travel, like kids born in a colony on Mars will be super allergic to everything on Earth if they visit later in life. Well, I imagine that's true, Baron Tor, right? Because I think about the ways in which when people from Europe came to the New World, they basically killed just a lot of people because the people in the New World had not built up immunities to a number of, germs and like they just gave everybody diseases because in the New World they hadn't had those diseases and they didn't have any kind of immunity built up for them. Barenter says, definitely in space, you essentially live in a hermetically sealed HEPA clean room. Chromatic says, sorry, all of my internet connection keeps dropping out, so I missed a lot of things from Trooper's request on. No! Coldrick says, in the 50s, 60s, kids could go to the playground and climb trees or vomit on the spinning merry-go-round death trap. And yes, basically expose them to dirt and germs so they could build up antibodies. Courier 3 says, more dangerous is that people born on Mars wouldn't have encountered the disease reservoirs, that Earthborn children do. It's likely they could never return because stuff like the common cold would take them out. Yes, totally. Courier just got where I was going from. Chairman Rockwell is in a secure location, probably in Cryostasis, probably. Chairman Rockwell is eating all the cake. Wrong, that is true. I guess it also depends on how much travel between the two we have. Yeah. His name is Rockwell, so somebody is watching him, I'm sure. Oh, I always feel that someone's watching Chairman Rockwell. So you've learned that the dimethyl sulfoxide is at the Ministry of Accuracy and Morale, along with whatever Chairman Rockwell is working on, which we should probably check that out, right? We should probably check that out, I think. And then use the password Hortense has asked you to access it, gave you to access it via terminal. This is the, I don't know where that is. We should see where that is. Because maybe we can find out, you know, a thing. I would like to change floors, but maybe I can't. Maybe oh, there we go. Okay, so I've got to go down to this terminal here. All right, that's fine. Okay.
Come on to my house.
Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you everything. Hey, Atomica, thank you for the host. That's Fallbrook. This is talking to Parvati. This is, oh, I got to give him his thing back. That's fine. And I got, okay, so we're gonna leave. We're gonna leave. And that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be fine, and we're gonna walk out. That's it. Bubble children forward. We're at 55%. I'm so excited for them to be able to have a did I tell you what they're thinking about doing for their new cover? They've got a really great idea. After the show, somebody asked way back in the beginning of the stream if I got sleep after the show. I did get sleep. I didn't go to sleep right away. I was up kind of late, but there was a discussion about what their new cover should be, and they've got a really good idea for their new cover. I was like, ooh. There was like a little bit of brainstorming. Greg had to go, so Greg wasn't there, so we have to like rope him in. But all of them were sort of talking about like, well, what can we do? And I said, look, what you need, all you really need, is an excuse to be able to meet up without it looking suspicious. Like, that's what you need, because being able to meet in private, like, you need to be able to meet and not cause suspicion. That's like the big thing that you need to do. I didn't mention it, but like the White Rose, the resistance group in Munich, they were like a university students, Germans, and they needed an excuse to meet up so they could plan their resistance stuff. And what they did was they were a string quartet, right? So they would meet up every Sunday to play string quartet music together. But really they were playing records of string quartet music and then like secretly making anti-Nazi flyers and that kind of a thing. So they just needed a good cover that will get them able to meet and having new identities. And they came up with something that is very, very cool. And I'm sure that those aspects that hopefully that we can raise for them will be very, very useful for what they're doing. So there is that. Bible studies group, that's another one, right? Yes. What is this? Super speculative answer, because it's super speculative, but with that said, because of how Earth-Mars orbits work, there'd be regular periods of several years where it's just not practical to go to Mars. It would take longer to start than to just wait for a better window. I'm not an immunologist, but I can't see the travel rate being high enough for that to help. Oh yeah, I totally see that, Courier. Kind of late, i.e., well, the sun was up. Was it? Berger says, yeah, I wonder how they'll figure that out. Will there be quarantines for folks going to Mars colony? Oh, yeah. Will there be for a moon base? Kind of cool to think about. Yeah. Anti-Nazi flyers that are made of the sharpest paper. Yes. The trip length works as quarantine. Mm-hmm. Oh, Trooper says Atomica. I almost forgot something I totally intended on picking on you for. I'm ready. Guess what game I just finished a playthrough of? Gosh, Atomica, I don't know. but I bet that whatever it is, it's not the Outer Worlds, because that would be really weird if you started the Outer Worlds way after I did, but you have finished it way before I did. That would be weird, so I'm sure it's not the Outer Worlds.
Sorry, I shouldn't talk. Not without signing a waiver.
Right? I just wish we'd gone full 2001: A Space Odyssey and have a decent midpoint space station and a nice, large Bible moon base. Yeah, maybe one way we will. I don't know. Call of Cthulhu and Jan. Hey, I'm gonna get all these topics before we finish. And I just did some major plot forward momentum. So like, I feel like we should be very proud of me today. So I was in this Call of Cthulhu game run by Jan Engen. Nope, not Outer Worlds, something coming out after Outer Worlds, allegedly. Oh. What? Now I want to know. This is curious. Ooh. You should say more. Oh, Rainworld. That's what it is. Rainworld. I know. I think that's Minister Clark, right? Is that Minister Clark? Rainworld. So, I was in this Call of Cthulhu game. Atomica, this has to do with you. What I'm going to say. I was in this Call of Cthulhu game that was run by Jan Engen, and Jan was the woman who wrote Beyond the Mountains of Madness.
Don't let the guards hear you asking questions. Or peeking in the back.
Okay, cool. I'm just here to say hi. How y'all doing? And so I think she's got one of the longest running RPGs.
Sorry, I
ever?
shouldn't talk. Not without signing a waiver.
Cool. I would like to steal all your things.
Sorry, I shouldn't talk.
But I
Not without signing a waiver.
clearly can't because you're all...
If you see any sprats loose up here, definitely don't touch them.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to steal anything because you're all looking at me and I'd get in trouble. And I'd like to pickpocket all of you. Let's not go there just yet, shall we? Let's go the other side. Ooh, hello, statues.
I think I'm gonna start taking my lunches out in the city. That woman from downstairs is still in the cafeteria.
That scientist? The one who's been hounding the clerks? Ooh, gives me the shudders, too.
They're all pretty unpleasant. What do you think they actually do down there?
Best not to ask. Remember that one clerk, Emily? She found a badge.
I thought that might have been knocking on my front door, but I think it's just strange sounds. That's what I think it is. It really feels like knocking, but I don't think it is. It's probably maintenance people being strange. Employer rights. Under the Bias Labor Standards Act, wage determined by merit of your work, overtime may result in higher pay if the quality of said work is considered exemplary. Your employer has the right to dock your pay should you damage any back facilities or equipment. It is your responsibility, not your employer's, to avoid workplace hazards. Halcyon Colony Department of Labor. That sounds awesome. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Don't forget to eat food. Yes. I'm going to eat food right now. I'm going to eat some food right now. Thank you for reminding me because I think I'm actually in a food state right now. I'm in a food state. Hey, y'all, just remind me to eat food. You know, just remind me to eat food because I'm addicted to food right now. Apparently you have to eat food or else, you know, it's bad for you. Well, I was paying attention to the sound. I was like, hold on a second. What's going on with that sound? Anyway, Jan Engen has probably got one of the longest running RPG campaigns ever. She started like in 81, 82, and she's still running it today. So it's like been going on for, 40 years. It's like a 40-year long campaign. And this is related to Atomica. We always remind you now you have to remind you to feature. This is true. So it's like a 40-year campaign, and Engen, that's no longer her name, but Janice Engen, Janice and Charles Engen wrote Beyond the Mountains of Madness. That it's like one of there are three big major Call of Cthulhu campaigns: Master Nyarlathotep, Ori and the Orient Express, and then Beyond the Mountains of Madness. and she wrote Beyond the Mountains of Madness, and she was my GM in this like massive sprawling campaign. By the way, this is related to what Atomica said 8 years ago. That campaign, when I was playing, I played in 2 different points in my life. I played when I was in high school, the late 80s, and then when I came back from the Army, I came back to the Bay Area, and so I played again for another sort of a chunk of time in the late 90s. But when I was in there, in that game in its high point, it had like 35 players, about, is that right? Yeah, about like 30, 35 players. And most players had only 1 character, but a couple players had 2 characters. And clearly, we did not all play at the same time. So that we were divided up into groups, usually groups of like 3 to 5 to 6 maybe. And each group had its own name. And she would run every Saturday and Sunday, except there was like one Sunday a month that she wasn't running. So she ran like seven sessions a month. And yep, Janice Engen. I think there might be an interview with her at Chaosium somewhere. She's very cool. She also ran the historical pattern lending library. She's like this really cool costumer, like a historical costumer. Very cool. She would take me to, I would go with them to these, the Gaskell's Ball, which was a Victorian ballroom dance in the Bay Area. And so I learned how to, it was them that taught me how to Victorian ballroom dance. Anyway, so what happened is that there was like probably, there were 7 sessions a month. And I would say that I was able to play like every 3 weeks. Like every 3 weeks I would get a session. So that was about how many groups there were. And what would happen is that you would sign up on the calendar for like when your group would want to play. So you get your groups, you get your group in the calendar, and then you would come and play. My world's been running off and on since 98. I couldn't even imagine still going to 2040. That's amazing. And this is where we were talking about time skipping. Atomica was talking about time skipping, right? Yes, oh, thank you, Coldrake. By the way, she was the woman that kept me in gaming, right? After playing with all those D&Ders who just sexually assaulted people all the time in game, including other people's characters. Anyway, like when I was dealing with all that horrible bullying and badness of like D&D in the 80s, I got into her campaign and she kept me in the hobby because she was amazing. And grossness was not happening there, just gross Cthulhu stuff, which was good. But what would happen is this was, and I still have my, I didn't bring it with me, it's in storage, but I still have all my materials from then because I needed it. But what would happen is that we would have a calendar. Each one of us would personally have a calendar, you know, like the squares and boxes. And we would mark where we were in the world, like in the calendar, in the timeline. So we always knew each player and each group knew where they were at any given time because it's Cthulhu in the 20s. Although when I was playing, we had gotten to the 30s, early 30s. No, we were in 29. They started in 1920 and I was playing right around 1929. Anyway, the point is that when you're doing a lot of globe trotting and globe traveling in the 1920s, that involves ships. And so there can be like large stretches of time when you're traveling. And so we all kept very meticulous notes for ourselves and for our group of where we were in the world at any given time in the calendar, because all of the groups were not all on the same day. Because like if we were going to go and take a boat to Egypt, that's going to take us some time, or train travel. And so we might be 2 weeks ahead of some other group or vice versa. But we all had calendars, so we always knew on this date wherever we were, so that if somebody needed to make a phone call and call one of the other members of some other group, because we were all in the same universe and we all were sort of interrelated, we would know where in the world we were. Or if this group goes to Egypt, we would know what other groups were in Egypt at the exact same time, and then we could do like a joint session. But also sometimes players would move, like one of my characters, my second character moved from the Hollywood group to the Islander group because it made sense for my character to leave this one group and go to a different group. And so the groups, like, it wasn't like if you were in one group, your character would only stay in that group. You would move to a different group if it made sense. But the only way that it all worked was that we all kept really good calendar notes. So we always knew where we were, and then it worked really well. And on January 1st, New Year's Eve of every in-game year, we did a LARP. Like, so all 35 players would meet up at a 1920s hotel in San Francisco, small one, and then we would all have this big dinner, a 1920s dinner, and then we would all talk about how we would try to stop the end of the world for the next year. Like, what had we done? Like, what had we done in the last year in game, and what we're going to do for the next year in game. It was very, very cool. And that was like that's how you manage 35 players, right, in 5 different groups. Ministry of Accuracy and Morale. Welcome to Human Resources portal for the Ministry of Accuracy and Morale. Humans are our 4th most important resource at the Ministry. This is human resource, whatever. If you have a complaint about anything work-related, write about it here. You'll feel much better after you do. I don't feel good about this, actually, at all. It's fine. From Caroline Endicott. Issue, finally taking action. Theodore Isaacs keeps eating my purpleberry lunches. I know that sprat-toothed little snot is the one doing it. I've seen him with cracker crumbs on his lips and purpleberry stains on his lab coat. Working next to him and seeing him pick the remains of my lunch out of his disgusting teeth makes me want to scream. There, I did it. I screamed a little. That felt good. I'm just going to sit in the kitchen and wait for him to do it again. I'll catch him in the act, and then I'll come back and write up another entry. I'm going to be so livid. I kind of feel like HR doesn't do anything. Those are my feelings. I also feel like what we need to do is to break into a reserved access area like this. These are my thoughts. Yeah, that'd be a neat way to go about it. I wish I had 35 players, or maybe I don't. It'd be a lot. Heck, we worked hard to keep 8 players showing up. Well, that's the thing, though. That's the thing. This is the thing. You know, human resources in charge of the retirement community. This is what I'm thinking. So here's what I think of. Okay, we're gonna step back. Just step back. We're gonna save. Here's what I think about getting people to show up. I think, and I've thought this for a while, people showed up to that campaign. They showed up because you had to actively commit to each session. Right? That you had to like sign up to get your group on the calendar, and you could really only play, thank you, Rissa, like once every 3 weeks. And if you were like not there, you lost your spot, and then some other group was going to take your spot, and there was like you didn't want to like screw things over, right? And I really feel like, and this is just my opinion, I really feel like having limited numbers of sessions in your campaign that you can then renew, like with seasons, like we did in the army. Say, hey, can you commit to 12 sessions? And people will say, yes, I can commit to 12 sessions. I find if you do that, then people don't actually miss as much. And then after the end of the 2 sessions, you say, hey, can you commit to another 10 sessions? Like you might still get somebody in or out there and there, but generally speaking, when it's a limited amount of time that they're agreeing to, or if you have to like actively sign up each month to get your slot, people don't tend to miss actually that often. I find that people miss more often when you have a regular game with no end date ever. Like, we're going to play this for 80 years forever, and it's going to be every single week for the rest of your life. People then just start missing because it's like every week for the rest of their life. So, you know, but I find that if it's that if you change the scheduling, the concept of the scheduling, people miss less often is what I have found. And it's one of the reasons why I do that now. Like, I mean, here's the thing. We've done 3 sessions. We're in season 3 of Kolos, and I hope there's a season 4. I don't know if there will be or not, but I hope there is. Like, I would run Kolos, because like each season's about 4 months for Kolos. I would run Kolos multiple years. I would run Kolos for multiple years, but I don't know if I can or not. But having a call sheet, having people like having it sort of set up that way means that people miss less. I also have it set up so that we have these duo episodes or solo episodes, so that if somebody's going to miss, we can schedule it for one of the times when they've got a duo or a solo. But having it set up this way means, like, I mean, the season finale of season 2 of Kolos, we recorded that because the players really wanted to be there. Like, they were like that committed, they didn't want to miss it, you know? So Yeah, I find that having limited sessions.
Keep your eyes out for dissidents.
Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna just go here and see what's up. I would like to pick that lock, but I think that I'll get in trouble, so I'm not going to. I'm gonna just walk this way. We're gonna pick it up later. We're also gonna just go through these doors. Just these doors right here, just the doors. Just going through them, and then we're gonna close the door after us. Okay, so that we're... Y'all, close the door after you. Come on, get in here and close the doors. I don't want them, like, seeing us and talking to us about anything. Close. Okay. Okay, all right. I feel like we're safe. We probably are not safe, but we could be safe, I hope. We're gonna also steal all the things because no one's looking at us, and what if I'm the one stealing everybody's purple berry punch? What if it's me? What if it wasn't that HR guy? What if it was me? What if she's upset because of the things that I have done? Interesting. Yeah, sticking to one day and one time for an indefinite period, says Courier 3, definitely leads to more absences. Also, the idea that games have to be every week. Every 2 or 3 weeks makes it far easier for people to find time every time. Also, it kind of depends also like what your setup is. Coalesce into Season 3, we are still in 1941, and there's a lot of war left to experience. I think there's a window and your bar isn't refilling. That is true. My bar isn't refilling. But we're gonna refill it by going out here. Safe enough for stealing, I mean long time borrowing. Yeah. And it's funny because you were saying that, Courier, and I was thinking about when and where you do it. For example, I'm gonna read Baron Tor's comment. My current game I'm going to run open table style where I just say when we play. There are more folks playing than there can be in one session anyway, so they can take turns and swap in and out. I'm trying an OSR game though, so maybe it'll work. Oh, you're gonna do the West Marches, where you just show up, and if people show up, then you have a game. If they don't show up, then they don't. And maybe if only one person shows up, then you do a solo, and if you know, basically whatever happens will happen. If they show up, they do. If they don't, they don't. That sort of thing. There's a lot of space here for cover, which makes me feel a little concerned. There's also a door over there that I would like to lockpick, and I feel like I should lockpick it now, but I'm also afraid that people will notice that I'm lockpicking, and then they will try to arrest me. But I also am out of food, so what we're gonna do is eat some food, save the game, and just try to lockpick and see if we can do it. And just see if that is a thing that can happen, is what it is. Yes. Now I want you to find the fridge and steal the berry to see if she... Yeah, I want to know. Not West Marches specifically, but sort of like that, yeah? Out of a base town like West Marches. Yeah, because I think that some people really like the idea of West Marches where they can just show up whenever they feel like it and just jump in and play, and if they don't want to show up, they don't have to show up, and, you know... Hi, corporate guard. Why don't you leave? And why don't I stealth
Nice and easy.
and lockpick and open and just go in here and close? I'm just gonna do that, and I'm gonna steal everything really quickly though, because I feel like if I'm not really fast, when I walk out, they're gonna catch me. And then I'll be in trouble, and that's bad. I don't have a lot of time. Other things, stealing, whatever this is, steal that too.
No visitors allowed, citizen.
Hey.
I'm going to need to see some identification.
Cool. No, you're not.
What?
You don't need to see my identification.
I don't need to see your identification.
Nope. Move along.
Move along.
Sure. Great, and I'm gonna just close that door again. And also I've reset, so we're feeling real good right now with all of the thieving. And...
You got nimble fingers, Captain.
I do, and we've stolen everything. Yes, and we're gonna just walk out like a normal person without any kind of big deal. We're gonna get in the elevator and it's gonna be great. And we're just going. Just that's it. I really like my little Jedi mind. We're going to the place. Okay, all right. Jedi mind trick worked. Trooper is a good enough hacker to Jedi silicon trick robots. Baron says, yeah, Palm Hulk, since this is an OSR game, the money that brought home counts as XP, and I'm giving that XP again if they waste the coin on things that don't give mechanical advantages, like buying a home in town or throwing a big party. Oh, that's interesting. Can I just walk in here? I can just walk. By the way, we've got like only a few moments.
What's this I hear about you ordering more tests performed with sample 4157? That batch failed spectacularly.
I saw a variance in the results that we never accounted for, so I had the techs run the trial again. And the results were 0.003% different this time.
So I think they're probably working on food. Probably. So we need to get chemicals, it looks like. And it looks like maybe down there. Ooh, there's so much to, so much space. I'm running out of space. Okay, go in here. Central lab, go. Central lab, go. This is not helping. Okay. Well, okay. Here. We're just walking. Okay. Animal testing. What? Necropsy labs. Nobody see me. Nobody look at me. I feel like they're gonna be guards and they're gonna... Okay, oh gosh. There's scientists everywhere. Okay, how about in here? Okay, this looks private. No one's, okay. No one will see us here. I decided I needed Korean food. Ooh, I need Korean food. I need Korean food. Oh, there's a scientist right here. Oh, the scientist is not yelling at me. So I think I'm okay. What happens if I talk to the scientist? Will they yell at me?
I really should concentrate on what I'm doing.
Okay, we are good, everyone. We're good. There's a body on that table and a scientist looking at it. Okay. All right. Oh, this scientist came from this lab.
Let the record show that subject 23K's cause of death is cerebral vascular incident brought about by a ruptured aneurysm.
That's an 86% failure rate for this batch. I think we can safely move on to the next.
And I had such high hopes for this one. Ah well, I suppose it could have been worse.
Yeah, they could have ended up like those poor bastards in containment.
What? Does this seem bad to you? Like, does this seem like they're doing weird human experimentation and it's bad? Because that's kind of what it seems like to me. Yeah, 86% failure, that's not good. Yeah. Critics agree that terminals built by Intercompany Name are the best terminals. Ministry of Accuracy and Morale. Remember, Ministry terminals are to be used for Ministry business only. Anyone caught or suspected of using Ministry terminals for criminal, defamatory, or non-work related purposes will be prosecuted. Let's look at some lab notes. Let's see. Autopsy records. Note, all subjects have perished after undergoing multiple hibernation cycles. Yeah. I'm gonna read this, put myself in a location where I can go somewhere else, and then quit it. Subject 19F. Massive cranial hemorrhage upon removal from hibernation chamber. Subject 61B. Intestinal rupture upon removal from hibernation chamber. Subject 82C. Lab technician accidentally shortened hibernation chamber. Subject electrocuted. Subject 15R. Pulmonary edema upon removal from hibernation chamber. Yeah. Looks like not at all reliable. And, bad. So this is where we came in. We're gonna set ourselves up for success so that when we open up, we'll know exactly where we're headed. I feel like we're gonna just walk through animal testing and then we'll go somewhere else. Are there people gonna be looking at me? Oh, nobody's currently looking at me. gonna just steal that. And also steal that. Because nobody's currently looking at me. Isn't this hibernation? Like, yes, right? Because so here's the thing. Jez has survived the hibernation chamber only because the scientist knows a way to get people through this thing without them dying. So we have a scientist who knows how to fix the problem, who's currently on the run and wanted as some kind of evil mastermind criminal, which seems a little bit unfair. But we might be able to... The question is, can we just find a way to fix the food problem? Where did our scientists go? Because if we can fix the food problem, then... Hello? Hi, Woolly Cow. Do you think I should talk to the Woolly Cow? Or do you think that's a bad idea? Hi, Woolly Cow. Yeah, yeah. Hi. You look very nice. What is this? Oh, it's Woolly Cow poop. Uh-huh. I'm gonna leave. You know? Just gonna go. Because that's a lot of Woolly Cow poop, and I don't feel like I need to be there. Y'all, come out. We've got some lab notes. And then we're gonna set ourselves up and go. Don't step in that. Nope. Trial 27. I've tried replicating the work Dr. Wells initially did on the revivifying formula, but his notes are basically unintelligible. This may take a few iterations. Trial 64. That's tetraborate ethanol, not toasted dinner roll. Trial 68. Maybe it is toasted dinner roll. Trial 82. How's that beer demanding results? I've submitted my catalog of dead sprats. Trial 127. I didn't realize it was possible to run out of sprats. Trial 128. Which genius left the new shipment of sprats in the kitchen? Trial 237. Still attempting to complete Wells's formula. Still going through a dozen sprats a week. We've got a lot of work ahead of us if this is ever going to be effective at reviving people from long-term hibernation. Well, this seems like a bit of a conundrum, isn't it? I mean, I'm gonna close that door so that the Woolly Cow doesn't escape. Woolly Cow, moo, translation, don't step in my poo. Hey, Critchwitch, we're about to go soon. We're gonna leave. I'm just trying to find a space to place myself so that when we start, I can just move forward. And so here's what it is. I like to set myself in front of a door so that when we start, I know, okay, all right, great. So we've been all over here so that when we start, I don't have to think, wait, where was I? Where did we go? What is happening? That's a guard. Don't like that. Let's go here. There's a guard. I don't like any of this. There are guards. I don't like it. There's a door. We're gonna pause right here. Save the game. And then we'll talk. We got things to talk about. Overwrite, yes. And main menu. Yeah, that's cool. And us hanging out. Hey everybody. Oh, and I should turn down the volume because it will happen. Hey everybody. So that was me. We did a lot. Yeah, I wish I did that more often. Yeah, no, I mean, because I only play once a week, right? So I only play once a week. And since I only play once a week, I always try to make sure that when I stop, I'm facing where I need to go so that I remember where I was at. It just makes it a little bit easier for me. Oh, Crit Twitch, I love having you here. So it's nice when you are. So, oh, thank you, Rissa. So let me tell you what's up. At 6 p.m. is the season premiere of an 8-episode show on Weave the Tale, Fate of Cthulhu, Return of Carcosa. And it is me, 4 players, playing Fate of Cthulhu, which is sort of like Terminator meets Cthulhu, in 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. It's you know how in Terminator, there's a war between the machines and the humans, and the machines won, and so they're sending people back to try to, like, stop the robot apocalypse from happening? I am GMing. So this will be my, I will be GMing 2 things at the same time. I'll be GMing 2 things at the same time. I try not to GM more than 2 things at the same time, because GMing takes all of my brain. But in Fate of Cthulhu, the conceit of Fate of Cthulhu is that, you know how the heroes are always try to stop the great old one from rising. That's like how Cthulhu games tend to work. Like you have to try to stop the cultists from bringing forth the great old one. In Fate of Cthulhu, well, too late. The great old one has emerged. Your great old one has emerged and is basically destroying the world. The world is like on the brink of destruction because the great old one has emerged. And the players go back in time to try to stop the great old one from emerging. So it is like that. I miss Ding, and yes. Jamming two things at the exact same time seems difficult. Good luck. Yes. And so our cast, by the way, I don't know if you've seen it, but our cast is going to be Jackie Dash is going to be in it, which is great because she's amazing. Sour Fruit Junkie is also going to be in it, who you know is Steph. She's really great and amazing. Other Doc, who Jim, who was in the regiment with me, is also going to be in it, and Wild Engineer, who I've not played with before, but who hangs out here sometimes, and that's going to be a really great crew of people. And I'm very excited. Very excited. But, so that's us. So you can find me in 3 hours on Weave the Tale, running Fate of Cthulhu. Tomorrow, which is Sunday, at 5 p.m. Eastern, you can find me at Cold Bold Press, playing Into the Southlands. And at 8 p.m. Eastern, you can find me at Praxagora, pardon me, Praxagora, the Smophorius channel, for Blue Rose, Romance the Blue Rose, which has been going on for a bit, but I couldn't be in it because I was doing Into the Southlands, and there's like only an hour in between the two, and I've got to take off makeup and like prosthetics, but I'm going to try to make the transition between the two shows quickly enough to sort of jump in. And I'm going to show you, thank you, Vicky63. I'm going to show you a spoiler. Although there's a comment about grandfathers. Coldrake says, that takes the assumption that time can be altered. There are long discussions about the murder of your grandfather time paradoxes. Oh, Coldrake, they address that. They address how time travel works in this universe, and that is that it is the sort of the split alternate realities model. So if you go back in time and you change things, it does change things, but it basically shunts you into a slightly different alternate reality, as it were. So you cannot kill your grandfather. I mean, you can kill your grandfather, that's fine, but you yourself maintain your own timeline, so you will not disappear. In this timeline, also the other things, you can't go back more than 30 years. So you could kill your grandfather, but you're probably still already born. If you're like under 30 years old, you could kill your parents. And so in this timeline, you would not be born, but you yourself still retain your own timeline. So you personally would not die. You remember all the differences of the timeline. It's just that, you know. Also, there's more than one, like if you go back 30 years and you are more than 30 years old, you still exist. You know, like the other you is still there. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to show you a spoiler for Blue Rose tomorrow night, because I've got my costume pieces. I'm not going to show you all the costume pieces, just one. I'm playing, so Blue Rose, the game has different races. It's got like humans and it's got like, you know, whatnots. But one thing that they have is they have basically psychic animals. They're called Raiden. So you've got like unicorns or griffins, but also cats and birds like wolves. There are animals that are psychic. They're animals. They're not animals. They are full-on animals, but they're basically sort of like attached to the earth and more connected, and they're psychic. So I am playing a red-shouldered hawk called Russet. And this is my really exciting hawk mask, which I love. And then I also have got, I've got another thing I want to add to it, but I'm playing a hawk, and I've done a lot of research on red-shouldered hawks. I'm very specifically a red-shouldered hawk. There are 3 different types of red-shouldered hawk, and I'm specifically the type that is from the California area, not the Florida area or the Midwestern area, because the type of red-shouldered hawk I am has specific sort of coloration, and I've learned all about what I eat and how I behave. So I am a red-shouldered hawk. That's it. Yes, I can. I got it from Amazon, but I will link it to you. I will link it to you. I will link it to you. And so that's it. So y'all, you can find me in 3 hours on Weave the Tale for Fate of Cthulhu. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. you can find me at Kobold Press for Into the Southlands. At 8 p.m. for Romance the Blue Rose over at Praxagora the Smophoria. And then after that, you can find me on Wednesday at Praxagora the Smophoria for Witcher Roads Home, where it's all trouble all the time, folks. We'll talk about it later. And then, you know, again, a Thursday, you can find me at my channel for original Simply Divine, Original Divinity Sin with Dot, and then Friday, Kolos episode 4, 7 p.m. And that's all on the schedule. And if you would like, give a follow to this channel if you would like. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You can subscribe to this channel if you would like. That would be much appreciated. But again, you don't have to if you don't want to. But you can join our Discord. We're very friendly there. You can follow me on Twitter at Academic Foxhole. You can see my YouTube channel, which is currently just an archive of the things we've done here on YouTube at Trooper SJP. If there's any stuttering that ever happens on Kolos because of the midnight server reset that happens on the Eastern time with Twitch, I always upload the non-stuttery version. That is the home version on YouTube, so that's always there. And there's also the Patreon at Academic Foxhole, which goes to support paying the cast of City of Light and Shadow and whichever RPG I'm running over there. And that's all of it. I'm gonna go get some food. I don't know what I'm gonna eat yet, but I'm gonna eat something. It'll be delicious, and I'm gonna go and do my prep for tonight. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it muchly, and I will take care, all of you all, and I will catch you on the flip side. Ciao, everybody.